In the last days, starting by taking care of your aunt, you will have many children and receive many blessings. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 126, The Chen family's last trump card. Chen Ord, you are not human. You are a devil. Lin Chen, considering that you are also a person with superpowers, you actually attack women and children, you must die a good death. If the Chen family ancestor finds out, he will definitely kill you. However, in the face of these accusations and threats, Lin Chen just sneered, his eyes revealing a kind of disdain and ridicule. If you call out the ancestor of the Chen family, then I might be in a good mood and spare your life. What do you think? Lin Chen said provocatively, his tone full of confidence and arrogance. Okay, you forced me. When our ancestor comes out, you will be finished. Chen Tai suddenly laughed, his laughter full of madness and determination. His wife Yang is already dead. Even if he risks his own life to bring the ancestor out today, it doesn't matter to him. And because he laughed too loudly, he coughed up a lot of blood. I'm really curious about what kind of strength your ancestor is able to finish me off, Lin Chen said in a low voice, with a dangerous light flashing in his eyes. Chen Tai didn't say much more. Under Lin Chen's gaze, he suddenly took out a black BB player from behind and pressed it a few times. Suddenly, the BB machine made a strange sound, and the harsh sound echoed in the air. Lin Chen narrowed his eyes slightly and yawned, as if he didn't care about Chen Tai's actions. Mysterious, Lin Chen said disdainfully. However, just as he finished speaking, a powerful momentum suddenly formed on the mountains not far from the Chen family mansion. Oh, this aura is from the ancestor of the Chen family. Lin Chen raised his eyebrows slightly, seeming a little surprised. Feeling the powerful momentum, he couldn't help but feel a ripple in his heart. It's the ancestor. It's the ancestor. Chen Tai stared at the mountains not far away, and his weak face reflected. At this time he seemed to have found hope, with a kind of ecstasy and expectation in his eyes. What's wrong? Why was the ancestor awakened? Sensing the movement, everyone in the Chen family's mansion filed out one after another, their faces full of doubts and worries. Chen Tai, what happened? Do you know the consequences of awakening the ancestor? An old man came out of the Chen family, and his temperament was more than a notch better than that of the current head of the Chen family. He walked out calmly and walked up to Chen Tai. His power was activated slightly, and after a moment he controlled the blood flowing in Chen Tai's body. And he was Chen Fan, the previous head of the Chen family, and his face was full of solemnity at this time. Second uncle, I understand. But do you know that if we don't let the ancestor come out, I'm afraid our Chen family will really perish? Chen Tiqiang said with energy. Although his voice was weak, it was full of determination. He knew that the consequences of awakening his ancestor would be serious, but now he had no other choice. He must take a risk for the future of the Chen family. You are also a high-level superpower. How could you say such a thing? And you don't know that our Chen family has been able to stand in the Dragon Kingdom for thousands of years. Is this the only strength we have? Turn BB off quickly, maybe our ancestor will forgive you. Chen Fan shouted sharply. At this time, Chen Fan also noticed Lin Chen's presence. In fact, he saw the young man as soon as he came out. It was just that Chen Tai was injured at the time, so he didn't deal with Lin Chen immediately out of concern. Now, after dealing with Chen Tai's matter, he turned around and stared at Lin Chen sharply. After speaking, Chen Fan turned around, looked at Lin Chen and said, "Little brother, what did you do today? Although I don't know which family you were trained by, but what happened today, I did it." Lin Chen interrupted Chen Fan and said, "Okay, you have the guts." Chen Fan nodded, a hint of appreciation flashing in his eyes, but then his face darkened and he said coldly, "Then welcome the Chen family's revenge." After saying that, he turned to look at the two men beside him and motioned for them to take action. If these two subordinates were 100 years ago, some people might still have some impression of them. They were once the most capable generals of the Chen family. They followed Chen Fan in the north and south and made great contributions to the rise of the Chen family. But as time goes by, more and more people have forgotten their existence. However, their strength is still extremely powerful, and they are one of the top combat powers of the Chen family. Seeing this scene, Chen Tai couldn't help but feel worried. He knew that Lin Chen's strength was unfathomable, and even he was no match for him, so he hurriedly spoke to dissuade him. "Second uncle, let the black and white guardians come back. We are not Lin Chen's opponents." However, Chen Fan did not listen to Chen Tai's words. He was furious and almost couldn't help but slap Chen Tai. "What are you doing? You used the BB machine to summon the ancestor. I didn't blame you. Now you actually have other people's aspirations. Let's see how your black and white guardian can kill this kid instantly. Several old men who had just walked out of the Chen family discussed this. That's right, Chen Tai, you don't understand. Our generation just watched the black and white guardian slowly build up the prestige of the Chen family. Even if the so-called Long Changxi comes, he may not be an opponent. To put it bluntly, yes, the so-called killing tower is used by the government to brush up data. People with real strength may not go to the killing tower. The black and white protector, the original battle to become famous, was a 300-round battle with Ying Jiang Xiao Xianshan. In the end, Xiao Xianshan sold her body to avoid being solved by the black and white protector otherwise. Why do you think Ying Jiang wants to sanction our Chen family? It's not because of the black and white guardians. At this time, the black and white guardians had already ordered them to move suddenly and attack Lin Chen. However, Lin Chen just smiled slightly. He didn't even want to use the thunder gun that appeared from the Zixio divine thunder equipment because in his opinion, the speed of the so-called black and white guardians is too slow. Whoosh sounded. The black and white guardian was directly knocked to the ground by Lin Chen's headshot. This scene shocked everyone, and they couldn't believe their eyes. The black and white guardian was killed instantly. How is this possible? However, the facts are right in front of us. The black and white guardian had fallen to the ground without breathing. That's it. There was a hint of disdain in Lin Chen's tone, as if he didn't take the Chen family's strength seriously. Then, he changed the subject, glanced sharply at everyone, and said coldly, "Ancestor of the Chen family, if you don't come out, your Chen family will really be the last to die." Everyone was shocked when they heard this. They didn't expect that Lin Chen would dare to provoke the ancestor of the Chen family like this. This is the Chen family's strongest foundation, especially Chen Fan. He had just used the BB machine to reply to the ancestor, which meant that there was a problem with the BB machine just now, and there was no need for the ancestor to come over. But according to what Lin Chen said, the ancestor had actually arrived just now, and Lin Chen learned about it earlier than they did from the very beginning. The moment the BB machine rang, the aura of the ancestor of the Chen family was already detected by Lin Chen. He has been waiting for the ancestor of the Chen family to show up, wanting to see how strong this legendary strongman is. However, there seemed to be silence in the air. Everyone is wondering where the ancestor of the Chen family is and why he hasn't shown up yet. At this moment, a majestic momentum suddenly appeared in the sky and fell directly to the ground. The entire imperial city seemed to begin to tremble. As if it was trembling under the pressure of the ancestor of the Chen family, countless eyes were directed towards the source of that aura, and a figure was seen slowly descending from the sky. Chapter 127. That's it? Still super strong? I saw a figure slowly falling from the sky. He was wearing a long robe, with flowing white hair, and his eyes were as deep as the sea, as if he could see everything in the world. It is the ancestor of the Chen family. His appearance made everyone feel a suffocating sense of oppression, as if there was an invisible mountain pressing on their hearts. Is this the strength of the ancestor of the Chen family? Terrible. However, facing such a powerful ancestor of the Chen family, Lin Chen did not show any fear. He smiled slightly, as if he had expected all this. Next, a peak showdown is about to take place above the sky. The ancestor of the Chen family is like a god looking down on all living beings. Suspended in the void, he glanced at Lin Chen standing on the ground, raised a sneer at the corner of his mouth, and said in a low voice, "Little brother, are you responsible for the tragic situation in the Chen family mansion today?" Lin Chen was not afraid. He raised his head and looked directly at the ancestor of the Chen family, and responded coldly, "Otherwise? Who do you think is responsible for this mess on the ground?" A trace of anger flashed in the eyes of the ancestor of the Chen family, but his tone became colder. "Okay, great. This is the first time I have encountered someone who dares to destroy my Chen family like this. Do you think you can do it with your strength? Do you want to do whatever you want in this world? Young people, if you have some strength, don't be too arrogant." As he spoke, he shook his head and smiled, but the smile on his face disappeared in an instant, replaced by a cold look. A powerful coercion burst out from the body of the ancestor of the Chen family, sweeping through the entire Chen family mansion like a violent storm. Lin Chen also felt an unprecedented sense of oppression under this pressure, but he did not flinch, but instead strengthened his belief. He was keenly aware that this kind of coercion was definitely not something that ordinary 9th-level superpowers could possess, and those Chen family members who were beaten to the ground by Lin Chen also saw hope at this moment, especially Chen Tai, Chen Fan and others. Their faces showed expressions of joy in their hearts. The ancestor of the Chen family is an invincible existence. As long as he's around, There is nothing to fear. Over the years, there have been endless speculations about the strength of the ancestor of the Chen family. Everyone thought that he might have already broken through the barrier of the 9th level superpower user and entered the legendary realm of the king of martial arts. Even Lin Chen, the #1 person in the Dragon Kingdom, has never reached this level. Therefore, the people of the Chen family are eagerly looking forward to the ancestor of the Chen family taking action immediately to capture Lin Chen. However, what they never expected was that in the midst of their expectant gazes, Lin Chen, with a slight movement of his mind, instantly smashed the heads of several members of the Chen family to pieces. This scene shocked everyone present. When Chen Tai saw this scene, he shouted, "Ancestor, Lin Chen thinks you don't exist. Get rid of him quickly." Chen Fan also added, "Yes, Ancestor, this is a slap in the face in front of you. How dare you kill our Chen family in front of you? If other families in the imperial capital know about this, it will lose the face of our Chen family. So what should we do?" The face of the ancestor of the Chen family was now like a dark cloud, so dark that it was impossible to look directly at him. Before, he might have had a trace of kindness and hoped to leave Lin Chen a complete body, but now, that trace of kindness has long gone, replaced by the flames of rage, burning in his heart. His eyes were dark and cold, staring at Lin Chen as if staring at prey, ready to take action at every moment to completely destroy the opponent. Lin Chen faced the glaring glare of the ancestor of the Chen family, but just smiled lightly, as if everything was under control. He said provocatively, "Take action quickly, old man. Otherwise, if I accidentally kill your Chen family again, don't blame me. You forced me to do all this." These words undoubtedly added fuel to the fire and made the ancestor of the Chen family even more angry. A sneer appeared at the corner of his mouth, and with a slight movement of his palm, a powerful supernatural energy surrounded his body. A martial king in this realm can already mobilize any element around him as a murder weapon at will. His strength is far beyond the imagination of ordinary people. "Boy, I want to see what you have to rely on to be so arrogant," the ancestor of the Chen family said coldly. As soon as he finished speaking, his body moved suddenly, and an afterimage immediately appeared. The speed was so fast, almost twice the speed of supersonic speed, that it was impossible to capture its trajectory. Lin Chen's pupils shrank. The speed of King Wu was indeed extraordinary. If he hadn't become a spiritual power user, he might not be able to clearly see the figure of the ancestor of the Chen family. However, he did not panic at all. Instead, he looked calm and his thoughts moved slightly. Several purple thunder guns behind him instantly condensed together, like a purple lightning bolt, shooting straight towards the ancestor of the Chen family. "Okay, let's play with what a real guy can do." If it were in the past, Lao Hu might have wanted to accept you as his disciple, but now I'm sorry, I'm killing geniuses. When the ancestor of the Chen family saw Lin Chen's behavior, he also frowned and a glimmer of appreciation flashed in his eyes. He immediately struck out with a palm, and all the supernatural energy in his palm surged out like a torrent, heading straight towards Lin Chen's attack. Boom! Under the countless gazes of everyone in the Chen family, the two attacks containing the power of thunder and lightning finally collided fiercely. In an instant, the ear-piercing explosion was deafening, and the collision of thunder and lightning actually produced a brief tinnitus, making it impossible to hear any surrounding sounds. The airwaves generated by the explosion swept around, shaking the surrounding trees and houses in the smoke and dust. The figures of the ancestors of the Chen family and Lin Chen seemed a little blurry. "Boy, you are indeed very strong, but compared to me, you still look a lot immature. I will give you another chance. If you are willing, I can consider accepting you as my disciple." The voice of the ancestor of the Chen family came slowly, with an unquestionable majesty. However, Lin Chen was not moved at all, and he responded directly, "Old guy, if you can, don't hide. Did you fight me just now and then hide? I really feel sad for the Chen family. It's really ridiculous that there is such an ancestor. If I were you, I would have killed you with a piece of tofu." The ancestor of the Chen family's face darkened. He didn't expect Lin Chen to be so rude. He tried to communicate with Lin Chen using a supernatural voice, and there was a hint of helplessness in his voice. "Little brother, why are you so disrespectful? How about this, you pretend to admit defeat, and I will meet all your requirements. But the premise is that you don't speak rudely again." However, Lin Chen is a tough guy and he never gives in easily. He sneered and said, "Old guy, just say it properly and don't do this to me. If you have the ability, stand up and fight with me again. Otherwise, when I get angry, I will destroy your Chen family. Do you believe it or not?" As soon as he finished speaking, there were sudden sounds of bones breaking in the air. Everyone in the Chen family was horrified to find that some of the tribesmen had been killed by Lin Chen with a clean headshot, And now some tribesmen were in a tragic state with their hands and feet severed. This scene made everyone in the Chen family tremble with fear. They all looked towards the smoke-filled battlefield, expecting the ancestor of the Chen family to make a shining appearance and save them from the fire and water. However, when the smoke slowly dissipated, they were shocked to find that the figure in the smoke turned out to be an inflatable doll. The ancestor of the Chen family ran away? Chapter 128. So Moist, ancestor of the Chen family, what kind of existence is he? In the eyes of the outside world, he seems to be a hidden legendary figure, and people can only look up and guess his true appearance. But in the hearts of the Chen family, he is not only a legend, but also a sacred symbol deeply rooted in blood and belief. Each generation of young people in the Chen family will receive solemn baptism from their elders at their coming-of-age ceremony. During this process, they will be solemnly told that they must be deeply grateful to the ancestors of the Chen family for their outstanding contributions to the Chen family. It is the wisdom and hard work of their ancestors that have created the glory of the Chen family today. It is no exaggeration to say that without the ancestors of the Chen family, there would be no Chen family that now stands at the top of the four major families in the imperial capital. Therefore, every Chen family member has endless admiration and trust for their ancestor. And this trust has almost reached a level of mysterious self-confidence. However, reality is always full of surprises. Just today, when the thick smoke gradually dissipated, everyone expected to see the majestic figure of the ancestor of the Chen family, but unexpectedly, it was Lin Chen who stood there, not the ancestor they had longed for. This contrast shocked everyone present. Where is the ancestor? Someone asked in disbelief. Did he run away? No, this is impossible. Another Chen family member immediately retorted, our ancestors will never abandon us. Yes. Someone else echoed, even if our ancestors sacrificed their own wives and daughters, they would never ignore us, our loyal and filial sons and grandchildren. As doubts and uneasiness spread, noisy discussions began to erupt in the crowd, and an unprecedented uproar quickly brewed among the Chen family. There's so much nonsense. Look at whether your ancestor still dares to show up now? Lin Chen said disdainfully, with a trace of ridicule flashing in his eyes. Lin Chen, you don't really think you can beat our ancestors, do you? A member of the Chen family tried to refute, but before he finished speaking, Lin Chen looked directly at him with sharp eyes. Suddenly, his head suddenly exploded and blood splattered everywhere. But this was just the beginning. Lin Chen slowly walked toward Chen Fan, each step appearing calm and powerful. Following his footsteps, a huge ancient magic circle slowly formed under his feet, exuding a mysterious and powerful aura. This was Lin Chen's first time using a level 3 blood oath. He couldn't help but look forward to it, wanting to explore the limits of this power. He was thinking, could this magic circle be used on groups? What will be its effect? A short minute passed, but in this short period of time, the Chen family experienced an earth-shaking change. At this moment, with Lin Chen as the center, almost all the Chen family members knelt down, their faces full of respect and fear. This scene is shocking to anyone. Hello, Master. Chen Fan bowed deeply. I am your loyal manservant, Chen Fan. Immediately afterwards, other Chen family members followed suit and said in unison, hello, Master, I am your loyal maid Yang Jin. Hello, Master, I am your loyal maid Chen Kaioki. And the sounds came and went, echoing throughout the Chaoyuan district so loud even people in the entire Chaoyuan district can hear it. Even the other three major families in the imperial capital reacted immediately. The Ouyang family in the imperial capital at this time, the head of the Ouyang family was bored and playing with his toys, enjoying himself very much. But just when he was intoxicated with comfort, he suddenly heard reports from outsiders. Master, it's not good. Is the Chen family in the imperial capital about to change? Listen, what are they calling Lin Chen? Is it possible that they are going to join the Lin family? The head of the Ouyang family stopped abruptly when he heard this. The Xiao family in the imperial capital. The head of the Xiao family stood in the courtyard, taking deep breaths constantly, trying to calm down his excitement. I must have heard wrong. That's the Chen family. How could things change? He said to himself, but the uneasiness in his heart became stronger and stronger. In order to confirm the authenticity of the news, he immediately sent someone to Chen's house to inquire about the situation. He pursed his lips and ordered, come to Chen's house and see what's going on. The Lin family in the imperial capital. The head of the Lin family is sitting in the hall. Tell me, what's going on? Who is this Lin Chen? Does he have anything to do with our Lin family? A man with an eagle mouth said, reporting to the head of the family. According to our verification, Lin Chen is not from our Lin family, but it does not mean that we cannot invite him. You also know that many superpowers from the Dragon Kingdom in our imperial capital, Lin Jiane, yearn for him. If we sincerely invite him, I believe he will not refuse. Okay, You quickly send someone to find Lin Chen. As long as he is willing to join our Lin family, he can give whatever conditions he wants. The head of the Lin family nodded when he heard this, and a glimmer of light flashed in his eyes. At this time Lin Chen watched as all his disciples and grandsons knelt down. The ancestor of the Chen family was hiding in the dark, with the corners of his mouth twitching. Boy, what kind of superpower do you have? Why do all my disciples and grandchildren consider you their master? If you have the guts, don't touch my people. If you have the guts, just come to me. When Lin Chen heard this, he almost laughed out loud. Looking for you? Then come out. I have seen cowards, but I have never seen anyone more cowardly than you. Since you don't care about your Chen family, from today on, I will discipline these unfilial descendants on your behalf. As he spoke, he turned to look at everyone, his eyes burning brightly. Who are the wives and concubines of the ancestor of the Chen family? Come forward and let me see. When Lin Chen finished speaking, a graceful figure slowly walked out of the crowd. That was Li Wei. She came to the crowd with an elegant and confident gait. I am Li Wei, the little wife of the ancestor of the Chen family. Her soft voice echoed in the air, as if carrying a charming magic power. When Lin Chen heard this, his eyes turned to her. Involuntarily he saw Li Wei wearing a white skirt, the skirt fluttering gently, as soft and beautiful as clouds. On her feet she wore a pair of black high heels, which made her legs more slender and slender. Every move she made revealed endless sexiness, as if every step she took was stepping on Lin Chen's heartstrings. However, just when Lin Chen was attracted by Li Wei's beauty, another voice came into his ears. That was Vivian's voice. And she showed her charm in another way. I am the little wife of the ancestor of the Chen family, Vivian. Vivian walked out neatly. She was wearing a slim-fitting cheongsam, and her graceful figure was perfectly outlined. Although she did not wear a white skirt, her cheongsam showed off her figure to the fullest. The strange thing is that although Li Wei and Vivian came out at the same time, they each exuded unique beauty. Li Wei's sexy and Vivian's elegance complement each other, giving people a sense of beauty that has its own merits. Lin Chen looked at the two beauties in front of him, and couldn't help but feel tenderness in his heart. It's so moist. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 129. Let Me Go, or... Just when Lin Chen was intoxicated with admiring the elegance of the two beauties Li Wei and Vivian, the two beauties showed rare tacit understanding and cleverness. They looked at each other, as if they had a tacit understanding, and then, they jumped up lightly and landed gracefully in front of Lin Chen. Seeing their sudden actions, Lin Chen couldn't help but raise a corner of his mouth, showing a meaningful smile, and asked curiously, "What do you want to do, Master Lin Chen?" Li Wei and Vivian said in unison with firm eyes, "We want to be your woman." This sentence surprised Lin Chen, because it was completely beyond his expectation and was not his instruction or hint. He was secretly wondering what kind of new trick this sudden confession was, or whether their powers had evolved some novel abilities. However, this sudden confession angered the ancestor of the Chen family. Not far away he was originally confused by Lin Chen's supernatural means that made all his Chen family members recognize him as their master, and now this sudden betrayal made him even more angry. The voice of the ancestor of the Chen family was full of anger and came from afar. "Lin Chen, you are so shameless. You don't have martial ethics, but now you dare to take advantage of my woman. Tell me, what is your purpose? As long as you let my woman go, I can be her. Nothing happens today, otherwise you will be prepared to accept the wrath of the Chen family and the forces behind them." Although the ancestor of the Chen family did not get along with his two little wives for a long time, only a few decades, their charm far exceeded all his previous wives. It is precisely because of their unique charm that the ancestor of the Chen family took concubines again after so many years. When Li Wei heard the angry words of the ancestor of the Chen family, she stood up without hesitation and refuted him with a firm and decisive tone. Her back was turned to Lin Chen, and her graceful figure seemed to be building a solid barrier for Lin Chen at the same time. Her words brought unprecedented shock to the ancestor of the Chen family. Li Wei sneered and said, "Ancestor, how can you have the nerve to say such a thing? You have lied for so many years. In addition to letting your eldest wife have children, have you also let other wives have children? I have to say, your function in that area has faded a long time ago, and may even be gone. But you just don't believe in this evil. You take medicine like crazy, you take concubines like crazy, and you ruin countless innocent girls." Her words revealed deep disappointment and anger, and she continued, "I was really blind before, and I actually fell in love with you, thinking how powerful you were. But in reality, You will know after a try. That's not possible at all. I've been married to you for so many years, and yet I'm still a young lady. This is simply a joke. Li Wei's words became more and more sharp, and she accused unceremoniously. I advise you to hide quickly, otherwise I will definitely scold you to death. Do you hear that? Ancestor? Are you deaf? If you hear it, say something back. While Li Wei was speaking, Lin Chen noticed that her words contained unique energy. This energy made him curious, so he subconsciously used the system to identify Li Wei and Vivian. Name: Li Wei. Race: human. Gender: female. Age: 46. Quality: Kingo. Occupation: Miss Donghae. Li family. Appearance: 91. Body: 96. Power: A level. Ice power level: level 7. Psychic. Overall rating: 94. Name: Vivian. Race: human. Gender: female. Age: 46. Quality: Kingo. Occupation: the second young lady of Donghae. Li family. Appearance: 91. Body: 95. Power: A level. Ice power level: level 7. Psychic. Overall rating: 93. It would be okay if he didn't try it. Lin Chen was shocked when he tried it. These two people are actually superpowers. In other words, this was the first time he met a relatively high-level female superpower. No wonder when these two women jumped over, their fair skin and necks were covered with fine beads of sweat, and their chests were still wheezing. They looked like Lian Jiazi. Li Wei. Go. Die. The roar of the ancestor of the Chen family came from not far away, and the voice was full of coldness and murderous intent. For the ancestor of the Chen family, as a man, he can endure the slander and attack from others, but when this attack and slander comes from his own little wife, the humiliation is unbearable for him. He would rather destroy her than accept this betrayal. As the ancestor of the Chen family finished speaking, Lin Chen raised his brows and glanced sharply. Not far away I saw a dark shadow approaching quickly. It was the ancestor of the Chen family who had been hiding before. His face was full of anger and ferociousness, and he was obviously completely angered by Li Wei's words. He sped up and rushed towards Lin Chen and Li Wei, obviously preparing to deal with Li Wei, the wasteful BCH. First seeing this scene, Lin Chen's expression darkened slightly. He didn't expect that the ancestor of the Chen family would be forced to show up in just a few words. His mind moved, his mind changed slightly, and suddenly several purple thunder guns surrounded him, making hissing sounds, and lightning flashed and thundered. He rushed forward without fear, preparing to fight the ancestor of the Chen family. Ancestor, why are you so restless? Lin Chen said disdainfully. Look at you, you are already a grown-up, and yet you were forced to show up by a weak woman. The ancestor of the Chen family stared at Lin Chen with a fierce look, and his sinister voice shocked Li Wei, who had just uttered arrogant words. He stared at Lin Chen fiercely, as if he wanted to tear him into pieces with his eyes. However, when the ancestor of the Chen family faced Lin Chen's unusual purple thunder gun attack, his expression suddenly changed. In his first contact with Lin Chen, he had already felt how unusual this purple thunder and lightning was. Although he is also a person with lightning powers, there is indeed a big gap between different types of lightning. The ancestor of the Chen family hurriedly mobilized the supernatural powers in his body to defend himself, but it was already too late. Boom! A loud noise erupted in the sky, and the power like a volcanic eruption caught the ancestor of the Chen family off guard. He was hit hard by Lin Chen's thunder gun. A mouthful of blood spurted out, and his body fell to the ground like a meteor. Lin Chen now uses the level 7 purple sky divine thunder and the mental power comparable to level 9 psychic, and whose strength can almost reach the level of the martial king in a short time. But this ancestor of the Chen family is just an ordinary level 9 superpower user. Although there is only one level of difference between the superpower user and the king of martial arts, it is still extremely huge. And if he hadn't been angered by Li Wei's words just now, Lin Chen wouldn't have found him so easily. Of course, this is all a story for later. At this time, the ancestor of the Chen family is in a desperate state. Where is the dignity of the ancestor? He lay on the ground with his hair disheveled, vomiting blood from his mouth, and his heart was full of regret and unwillingness. He was careless. He shouldn't have exposed himself just because of a woman's words. However, it was too late to regret. The ancestor of the Chen family struggled to wipe the blood from the corner of his mouth and began to look for a way to escape. He understood that he was no match for Lin Chen, and any strategy was in vain in the face of absolute strength. Lin Chen, if you let me go, I will return Chen Lili to you. Otherwise, the dwarves will not let you go. Seeing Lin Chen's sudden attack, he felt nervous and said hurriedly. Chapter 130. Wait, this is not. Let me go? What a joke. Since when have I needed you to let me go? Lin Chen seemed dismissive of the Chen family ancestor's plea, and a sneer appeared on the corner of his mouth. In the Chen family ancestor's eyes, this smile was like an evil spirit born, which was frightening you. What do you want? Chen family ancestor asked tremblingly, with fear and uneasiness in his tone. As long as you are willing to let me go, however, before he finished speaking, Lin Chen appeared in front of him like a ghost, suddenly stretched out his big hand, grasped the Chen family ancestor tightly like steel pliers, and lifted him up. PFFT, the ancestor of the Chen family spat out a mouthful of blood in pain under Lin Chen's tight grip. It was obvious that the injury was not serious at this time. In the distant sky, members of the three major families in the imperial capital also witnessed this thrilling scene, and their expressions also changed suddenly. Master, should we step in to help the Chen family? An attendant of the Yang family swallowed nervously and asked Yang Haoshan. A trace of hesitation flashed in Yang Haoshan's eyes. He looked around, his eyes wandering between Lin Chen and the Chen family. Finally, he gritted his teeth and made a decision. No, we don't need to intervene. I don't know how the Chen family offended. I've learned about this person, but his strength is obviously no small matter. After saying that, he waved his hand decisively and said, let's leave quickly. We can't afford to offend people like this. When the members of the Yang family saw this, they were full of doubts, but they could only follow the family leader and evacuate in a hurry. People from other families saw the Yang family retreating. Although they didn't know what happened, they chose to follow them and quickly left the scene. The ancestor of the Chen family, who was tightly held by Lin Chen, used to be so majestic, but now he looked so embarrassed. Not long ago, he suffered several fierce attacks from Lin Chen's thunder and lightning. Those heavy blows had seriously injured him. Some parts of his body would have broken and collapsed if he had not forcibly supported them. While the ancestor of the Chen family was taking a breath, he seemed to be secretly accumulating supernatural power, trying to make a final counterattack. Lin Chen looked on with cold eyes, looking at this once arrogant and powerful man indifferently. His voice was calm and indifferent. Oh? You still have the strength to resist? The Chen family ancestor's eyes gradually turned red. He laughed crazily, and his body began to expand at an alarming rate, as if a volcano was about to erupt. Seeing this scene, Lin Chen said softly, self-destruction? This can be regarded as a kind of backbone of yours. Just when the ancestor of the Chen family thought that he was about to succeed, Lin Chen moved his mind slightly, opened his palms slightly, and released the ancestor of the Chen family. A trace of joy flashed in the eyes of the ancestor of the Chen family. He thought that he could finally be freed after death, and even began to fantasize about getting together with his little wife in another world. However, Lin Chen calmly uttered a few words. Space power. The Chen family ancestor's extremely swollen body was suddenly sucked into a bottomless black space. Bang! Although Lin Chen used his space powers in time, the self-destruction of the ancestor of the Chen family still produced a huge wave of energy, affecting everything around him. However, when he was approaching Lin Chen, his mind moved slightly and he absorbed the remaining huge energy into the space power. Although Lin Chen did not directly face this energy, he knew that even he would not dare to easily endure such a self-destruction. When the ancestor of the Chen family was put into the space, the self-destructive energy of the ancestor of the Chen family exploded instantly in the bottomless space. The space where countless supplies were stored disappeared without a trace in an instant as the explosion spread. That was all Lin Chen's belongings during this period. Although the food and drink could be found again, the adult products that Lin Chen was searching for were gone forever, which made him feel heartbroken. Not far outside Chaoyuan district, Yang Haoshan and others were also running for their lives. They felt the terrifying energy fluctuations, and everyone's face became extremely ugly. A subordinate of the Yang family analyzed, Master, the ancestor of the Chen family must have self-destructed. But the explosion of a level 9 superpower should at least flatten the entire imperial capital. You talk so nicely, don't say it next time. Yang Haoshan wiped the cold sweat from his forehead, and a bitter smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Self-destruction can push the ancestor of the Chen family to this point. That super strong person is really not one of us. Fortunately, this strong man is here, otherwise our entire imperial capital would be in trouble. He just wants to escape from this dangerous place as soon as possible, and at the same time, he secretly makes a vow in his heart. He will never offend a super strong person like Lin Chen in the future. Otherwise the next Chen family will be a lesson to them. Yang Haoshan sighed and continued to lead his men to flee the scene as quickly as possible, as if he was afraid that Lin Chen would catch up. The self-destruction energy of the ancestor of the Chen family raged in the space for several minutes before gradually dissipating during this period. Lin Chen did not pay too much attention to the duration of the energy. He went straight to everyone in the Chen family. Although the ancestor of the Chen family is dead, Chen Lili's whereabouts are still unknown. At the same time, the materials in the space power are also gone. He naturally wants to recover these losses in the Chen family. He landed slowly on the ground, followed closely by Li Wei and Vivian, who walked over quickly. Li Wei looked at Lin Chen and asked softly, "Master, are you looking for Chen Lili?" When Lin Chen heard this, a light flashed in his eyes, and he asked eagerly, "Do you know where Chen Lili is?" Li Wei nodded and continued, "When Chen Lili returned to the Chen family, it did cause quite a disturbance. Especially when the ancestor of the Chen family learned that Chen Lili already had you as her husband, he became furious and became angry. Put Chen Lili into the cold palace Languang? This old guy really thinks of himself as the emperor?" Lin Chen muttered dissatisfied. He immediately said to Li Wei and Vivian, "Let's go, take me to find her." Seeing Lin Chen's nervous look, Li Wei and Vivian didn't dare to show any signs of neglect and immediately led him towards the so-called cold palace. When Lin Chen finally arrived at the so-called cold palace, he almost couldn't hold back his surprise before his eyes. There was an incredible scene. There were at least hundreds of women in the cold palace, and every one of them was quite beautiful. Lin Chen didn't need to rely on system identification. He could tell that these women were outstanding in both appearance and figure just by observing them with the naked eye. Especially the woman standing at the front is even more eye-catching. She wore a simple and elegant skirt with a professional shirt underneath, which was simple yet fashionable. Her graceful figure is even more graceful and charming under the simple outfit. She wore flesh-colored stockings and a pair of high heels. This outfit exuded an indescribable charm from head to toe, making people couldn't help but look at it more. However, when Lin Chen took a closer look at the woman's face, he was suddenly stunned. This face, these eyes, this smile, etc. This is not Chapter 131 Wanted Order. Is that woman who makes Lin Chen obsessed with dreams Chen Lili? The moment Lin Chen's eyes met Chen Lili's in the air, a blush quickly appeared on Chen Lili's cheeks, which were originally pale. I have a hallucination?" Chen Lili muttered to himself in disbelief. Ever since she was thrown into the so-called cold palace out of anger by the ancestor of the Chen family, her life seemed to have fallen into an eternal winter. Every day, she spent in longing and despair, thinking that she would never have the chance to meet Lin Chen again in this life. However, the scene in front of her made her unbelievable. Lin Chen actually came to save her master. "Please wait." Just when Lin Chen's eyes were shining with excitement and he was about to rush towards Chen Lili and hug her tightly in his arms, Li Wei hurriedly spoke out, "What's wrong? Can I even see my wife?" Lin Chen's eyes never left Chen Lili, and he was also looking at the other women in the cold palace. "No, Master," Li Wei explained, "this cold palace seems ordinary, but in fact it hides a mystery. In order to curry favor with the dwarves, the ancestors of the Chen family would select women from here and give them to them every month. In order to prevent these women from escaping, the dwarves placed a number of people near the cold palace. A space array has been set up. I'm also afraid that you might be injured if you accidentally touch the magic circle," Li Wei added. After listening to Li Wei's detailed explanation, Lin Chen's doubts suddenly disappeared, and everything suddenly became clear. He had vaguely felt the fluctuations of supernatural powers in front of him before. Now, after listening to Li Wei's words, he understood that those fluctuations came from the space magic circle set up by the dwarves. It seems that the dwarves really put a lot of thought into this magic circle. No matter what the space magic circle is, Lin Chen snorted expressionlessly and opened his palms slightly behind him. Several purple thunder guns quickly gathered together and finally merged into one. Tightly held in his hand, he moved suddenly and rushed towards the space formation like lightning. When he approached the magic circle, his eyes flashed suddenly, and the thunder gun in his hand struck down hard. The space formation that was originally invisible to the naked eye burst open like fragile glass under Lin Chen's thunder gun. The fragments scattered in all directions and completely dissipated in the air. Lin Chen didn't even look at the dissipated space fragments. His eyes were only fixed on Chen Lili. He rushed straight to the woman who fascinated him, the woman he swore to protect for the rest of his life. "Husband, you are finally here." As soon as Chen Lili saw Lin Chen, all his grievances and fears poured out like a flood that broke a bank. "Do you know? Ever since I was abducted to the Chen family in the imperial capital, I have been so scared every day. I am afraid that I will never see him again. I can't see you anymore. I even thought about ending my life because I don't want to be the plaything of the dwarves." As he spoke, Chen Lili's tears kept falling like broken beads. "Stop crying. Am I here now?" Lin Chen wiped away her tears distressedly and gently held up her chin. "With me here, you don't have to be afraid of anything. Neither the Chen family nor the dwarves will hurt you again." Lin Chen's comfort did not seem to have the expected effect, but made Chen Lili's tears surge out like a flood that broke a bank. Her eyes were red and swollen from crying, and the tears were still filling her eyes, as if they would overflow again at any time. Her black hair flutters gently in the wind, and her weak and sad image makes people want to help her, shield her from the wind and rain, and protect her every moment. Really, stop crying. Let's pack up and go home. Lin Chen comforted. Under the vast blue star, there is a mysterious and huge underground world hidden. It has been hidden deep in the world and few people know about it, and just under the quiet Fangshan mountain, not far from the prosperous imperial capital, lived a group of special races, the dwarves. The dwarves occupy a unique position in this world. They are divided into 3 tribes: Bronzebird, Wildhammer and Dark Iron. Although there are subtle conflicts and competitions between these 3 tribes, they can always unite as one to resist foreign enemies when facing the life and death of their race. At this moment, at the foot of Fangshan Mountain where we are, is the home of the Black Iron tribe. When you step into this land, you will hear the faint clang of the iron furnace. This is the holy place where the Black Iron tribe worked hard for their artillery and weapons. Only those dwarf craftsmen with extraordinary talents are qualified to create their masterpieces here. However, in this busy and orderly forging site, a discordant exclamation suddenly came. An old man in black robes hurriedly rushed into the Holy Land with his unique short legs. King Tharisan, something terrible has happened. The old man's voice was full of tension and anxiety. That boy from the Chen family's soul jade metal is broken. This news was like a bombshell, instantly breaking the peace in the Holy Land. King Tharisan, the majestic and calm ruler, could not help but frown at this moment. He stroked his long white beard and glanced dissatisfied at the young craftsman who stopped working. Did I tell you to stop? Although King Tharisan's voice was low, it was full of irresistible power. The young craftsman quickly picked up the hammer again and continued his work, even though sweat had soaked his body, and the old man in black robe knew that the king was not in a calm mood at the moment. The soul jade tablet is an important item used by the dwarves to establish spiritual contact with their subordinates. Once the jade tablet is broken, it means that that person has encountered something unexpected. Could it be that the elves took action? King Tharisan asked after thinking for a moment. This is not clear yet, the old man in black robe replied. I only saw the boy's soul jade tablet of the Chen family suddenly shattered, and then I came to report to you immediately. King Tharisan's eyes became sharp, then immediately send someone to investigate and find out what happened to the Chen family. Regardless of whether it is the elves or other forces, anyone who dares to touch the people we the dwarfs want to protect will be killed. A price must be paid, or, when appropriate, a wanted order can be issued and external forces can be used. Okay, King. As the old man in black robe left quickly, the peace of the past returned to the Holy Land, with only the sound of hammers hitting anvils echoing in the air. King Tharisan stood up slowly, and with one look in his eyes, the gravity of the entire Holy Land instantly increased dozens of times. King, I can't bear it anymore. The young craftsman struggled hard under the strong gravity. You have to carry it even if you can't bear it, King Tharisan said coldly. The people that our dwarves want to protect must not be bullied. Otherwise, where's the prestige and honor of our dwarves? Where is the prestige of our Black Iron tribe? Chapter 132. Sorry, I am an adult. I want it all. Husband Lin Chen, this is the warehouse our Chen family has accumulated over the years. After calming down Chen Lili's emotions, Lin Chen led several concubines of the ancestor of the Chen family to start sorting and searching for the Chen family's rich supplies. When they arrived at the Chen family warehouse, which was rumored to be magical, even Lin Chen, who had a calm mind, could not conceal his inner shock. His eyelids jumped involuntarily, showing his inner shock and expectation. He once thought that the materials he collected in Luo City in recent days were extremely rich, enough to allow him to live stably in the apocalypse for several lifetimes. However, at this moment, standing in front of the door of Chen's warehouse, he had a profound experience of what the true heritage was. The Chen family, a family with hundreds of years of history, has truly astonishing resources. The warehouse door alone is enough to highlight its extraordinary character. It is not an ordinary wooden door, but is made of golden enmu whose price is comparable to gold. It is carved with exquisite patterns and is still shining brightly after years of baptism. With a slight sound, the door slowly opened, and what appeared in front of them was a deep and vast space. This warehouse is not only filled with all kinds of materials, but also hides a library with a rich collection of books. I heard that the library pavilion contains the martial arts secrets and training experiences of generations of the Chen family, among which the training method of thunder and lightning is the most precious. Lin Chen's eyes shone with excitement and desire, and he couldn't help but sigh. Oh my god, there are so many treasures here. The Chen family's heritage is really amazing. But, I'm sorry, I want them all. His voice echoed in the empty warehouse, accompanied by the dust of history, as if he could hear the responses of the ancestors of the Chen family. Lin Chen, husband, in addition to the supplies here, the Chen family also has many farms and fish ponds with sheep, cattle and many precious marine creatures. However, there are a lot of supplies. Lin Chen, husband, how do you plan to take them away? Li Wei said in a flattering manner. Hearing this question, Lin Chen just showed an unfathomable smile and said calmly, you don't have to worry about this. As soon as he finished speaking, the hill made of various materials, including thousands of tons of grain, countless antique calligraphy and paintings, and the library with a rich collection of books, suddenly disappeared without a trace. Li Wei and Vivian looked at this scene in shock, their mouths open wide and unable to close before they could recover. Lin Chen had already waved for them to follow later. Lin Chen led them to the Chen family's farm. He waved his hand gently, and thousands of cattle, sheep, and various marine creatures in the fish pond were instantly captured by him. Seeing Lin Chen collecting these supplies easily, Li Wei and Vivian couldn't help but sigh. This space power is really powerful with so many supplies. If there is no such power, who can easily take them away? After collecting all the supplies, Lin Chen became more interested in the lifestyle and heritage of this big family. He began to consider whether he should visit more big families in the future. Such visits would not only bring hundreds of years of material reserves, but also give him the opportunity to come into contact with more beauties and treasures. Of course, Lin Chen was more interested in the wives of the ancestors of the Chen family than in supplies. He looked at those women with beautiful faces and different temperaments, and he couldn't help but have the idea of taking them away as long as they are not overused. He is ready to take them away after all. He was really worried about leaving so many good-looking women in the Chen family. Okay, just send us here. Lin Chen stood at the grand entrance of the Chen family and said to Chen Shan, the current head of the Chen family, now that you have obtained the woman you want and the abundant supplies, it is time to set off and return. However, before leaving, he decided to keep Chen Shan. After all, Chen Shan has been bound by his blood oath, so it will be easier to use. And it will also help him stabilize his power in the imperial capital. Chen Shan nodded and bowed, and said with a smile on his face, yes, Master Lin Chen. Once you have any instructions, I, Chen Shan, will respond immediately and come to you without hesitation. Seeing that the head of the family who once dominated the imperial capital in front of him has become so diligent and even humble, Lin Chen couldn't help but feel deeply in his heart. I think back then, Chen Shan was also a famous figure in the imperial capital. As the head of one of the 4 major families, he once held a pivotal position in the imperial capital. As long as he wants something, he only needs a thought, and someone will diligently deliver it to him the next day. However, time has passed, and today Chen Shan has become Lin Chen's loyal follower, which is in sharp contrast to his past status. Yet, I understand. Okay, we should go. After Lin Chen finished speaking, with a slight thought, the hundreds of Chen family women behind him floated as if they had lost gravity. This was his first time flying with so many women, so he was extra cautious. Of course, Chen Lili is an exception. She was nestling quietly in Lin Chen's arms at the moment. Like a petite woman, she had fallen into deep sleep due to excessive crying. Lin Chen felt the ups and downs of Chen Lili's chest, and slowly flew towards Luo Chang with tenderness and satisfaction. Lin Chen soared into the sky and immediately attracted the attention of many people in Chaoyuan district. He could have left quickly at supersonic speed, but in order to allow the accompanying Chen family women to arrive in Luo City smoothly and comfortably, he deliberately slowed down his speed. Because of this, Lin Chen and the women he led could be clearly seen in the sky above the entire Chaoyuan district. On the ground, people were talking a lot. Oh my god. Is this young man the one who defeated the ancestor of the Chen family? It's impossible, right? He looks so young and so handsome. Handsomeness is just the tip of the iceberg among his many advantages. Have you seen it? He can actually fly with so many women. Which of us has this ability? I can't do it anyway. I have long heard that the women in the Chen family are all stunning beauties and have great figures. Now it seems that the Chen family is really good at hiding their secrets. If one of them falls in love with me, I will spend my whole life for her. It's worth it to be a cow or a horse. Can you do it with your small body? Only I can be like the Langfu battery. 1 battery is more powerful than 6. Even if it's 6 women, I can't help it. Who doesn't know how to brag? If you have the ability, go and challenge the ancestor of the Chen family. Anyway, I don't have that ability. This boy is really blessed. I just don't know if his body can bear it. If I share the burden for him, maybe he will thank me. During everyone's discussion, they all revealed their envy and jealousy towards Lin Chen at the same time. In a corner of Chaoyuan district, Liang Chen, a young girl with black silk stockings in her hands, was looking at the sky dreamily. She murmured to herself, Lin Chen, you once said you would take me away. Why are you leaving alone now? A trace of loss and hope flashed in her eyes. Chapter 133 Mysterious Call. Ho ho ho. Following waves of low and terrifying howls, Hordes of zombies were raging in a corner of Luo City. This made Luo City, which had not yet fully entered the night, suddenly darken. Originally, the afterglow of the setting sun should still shine on the city, giving Luo City a golden coat at dusk, but at this moment, darkness surged in like a tide, shrouding the entire city in a gloomy atmosphere. A zombie, with a ferocious expression on his face, looked up at the sky curiously. In its field of vision, a group of dark figures quickly passed by, like a flock of crows flying across the sky, bringing an even deeper sense of oppression to the city. If this scene is not observed carefully, people may mistakenly think that the end of Los Angeles has come again, and the zombie virus has once again broken out. People's hearts can't help but cast a heavy shadow. However, at this tense and terrifying moment, that group of dark figures suddenly landed in a certain villa area. With their arrival, the sky in Luo City gradually returned to normal, and the afterglow of the setting sun filled the earth again, as if the scene just now was just an illusion. A certain villa area. When Lin Chen arrived at a villa area with hundreds of women from the Chen family, the originally peaceful atmosphere in the villa was instantly broken. Su Yun, Yan Siqi, Go Yi, Go Xiao and others came out after hearing the sound, their faces full of worry and expectation. Although Lin Chen had not been away from home for long, his departure made these women who loved him deeply anxious. After all, this time he was facing the Chen family in the imperial capital, which was a famous family. They were afraid that Lin Chen would never come back, leaving them to watch alone for a long time as the head of the family. Su Yun finally felt relieved after seeing Lin Chen return safely. She said with a hint of reproach but also full of care, "You are finally back. Do you know how worried we are about you? However, we are relieved to see that you are safe and sound. At least when the children are born, their father will be around." Lin Chen was surprised and moved by these words. Yan Siqi, Go Yi, Go Xiao and others next to them also turned their heads in shock. Yan Siqi asked in surprise, "Aunt Su, why are you pregnant too? I thought I was the only one who was pregnant." Go Yi laughed happily, "Haha, it seems that our big family is getting more and more lively. Not only Aunt Su and Yan Siqi have a baby, but even Song Yuang shyly admitted that she is pregnant. It's great." Song Yuang blushed and said with a trembling voice, "I actually have it too, but I'm young and a little embarrassed to say it. I didn't expect everyone to accept it so happily." In addition to Su Yun, Yan Siqi, Go Yi and others, many women who lived in the villa before also said that their stomachs had changed. As the culprit of all this, Lin Chen just smiled lightly, but his heart was full of happiness and satisfaction. He really didn't expect that this system known as many children, many blessings would be so magical and powerful beyond imagination. Every communication can actually plant the seeds of life. This is a perfect shot. Looking at the group of women around him who were about to become mothers because of him, he couldn't help feeling filled with emotion. Fortunately, I brought back many women from the Chen family this time. Otherwise, the following days would probably be full of loneliness and boredom. At this time, Chen Lili, who had been standing next to him, suddenly came back to his senses and said with a bit of surprise and uneasiness, "Wait a minute, if you follow this logic, starting from Aunt Su, to each of you who have had contact with Lin Chen as a person, doesn't that mean that I might also be pregnant? Impossible. This is absolutely impossible." Liang Hong immediately stood up to refute. Her tone was firm and a bit unwilling. How can Lin Chen be so powerful that he makes every woman who comes into contact with him pregnant? This is simply a fantasy. As Lin Chen's maid, Liang Hong has always been eager to win Lin Chen's favor, but she has never been able to do so. Therefore, when she saw that other women were pregnant because of Lin Chen, one can imagine the gap in loneliness in her heart. Once this topic was raised, it immediately aroused heated discussion among all the women present. Whether it was the women who originally lived in the villa or the women who had just been brought back by Lin Chen from the Chen family, they all expressed their opinions. "I also think it's impossible for me to get pregnant. I haven't had much contact with Lin Chen. I just communicated with Lin Chen once. How could she be pregnant? Is Lin Chen really that powerful? Can he make every woman who comes into contact with him pregnant?" Faced with the heated discussions and doubts from women, Lin Chen always remains silent. It's not that he doesn't want to take a stand, but he knows that no matter what he says, it will be difficult to calm down the turmoil caused by the more children, more blessings system. However, seeing that the women were talking more and more enthusiastically and seemed to have no intention of stopping, he had to cough and interrupt their discussion. "Okay, I know you have a lot of questions and guesses." Lin Chen's tone was calm and firm, "but I'm really tired today and need to go back to my room to rest. As for your questions, I will explain them at the appropriate time. Now, please let me leave first." After saying these words, Lin Chen turned around and prepared to go back to the room. However, as soon as he took a step, He was blocked by Go Yu. Hey. How could you do this? Go Yu said dissatisfied. You are already the father of his child, why don't you care about us at all? Also, can your power really make every woman who comes into contact with you pregnant? You must give us a clear explanation. Su Yun didn't care about her face anymore and said directly, that's right. You must explain this issue clearly. Otherwise, you won't be able to leave today. Lin Chen sighed and said seriously, okay, if you want to explain, come to my room to find me later. I will explain to you. While massaging the words fell, Lin Chen's figure suddenly disappeared from everyone's sight. As soon as Lin Chen left, Go Yu was even more dissatisfied and shouted directly, whoever is pregnant with you, go to the room. I want to be a good mom. Yan Siqi put her hands on her hips and said, yes, whoever is a good person likes to go to your room, who can bear it? At the same time, Su Yun lowered her head and looked at her belly silently. Although the change was not big, she had determined through the last paper test that she would play the role of a mother again. She gently stroked her belly and said softly, baby, do you know? You were supposed to have a brother, but he turned into a zombie. If your brother is still here, he will definitely love you very much. At this time, Lin Chen had returned to his room. He was lying on the bed, feeling the soft mattress and comfortable quilt. Suddenly, the phone on the bedside table rang. Breaking the silence of the room, he looked up at the caller ID and saw a name he was unfamiliar with but couldn't ignore. Chapter 134 Ultimate Ice. The 4 words Dragnet on the screen were like a bomb, instantly igniting his vigilance. Lin Chen's eyes were fixed on these 4 characters, and his eyebrows were slightly furrowed, revealing some doubts and uneasiness. This phone number was the contact information he left with Mr. Long when he left the Dragnet. At this moment, its sound sounded like an ominous omen, making Lin Chen feel an inexplicable uneasiness in his heart. Although he was full of doubts, Lin Chen still hesitated for a moment and finally pressed the answer button. On the other end of the phone, Mr. Long's voice seemed a little angry. Boy, do you know why I called you? Lin Chen's heart tightened, but he still remained calm. I don't know. You still don't know? You kid, you've gotten into big trouble this time. Elder Long's voice revealed deep helplessness and anger. I thought twice when I asked you to take action, but it seems you didn't listen at all. It's okay now, you are wanted. Lin Chen's heart sank. Wanted? What's going on? He asked hurriedly. What do you mean? What do you mean? It means that you have offended someone you shouldn't have offended now. Even I don't dare to offend easily. Elder Long sighed. There are peace-loving tribes among the dwarves, and there are also tribes that like to fight, and what you have encountered is the Black Iron tribe that likes fighting the most. Lin Chen was shocked. Mr. Long continued, you ran away, but the Chen family you recruited will be in dire straits. The Black Iron tribe issued a wanted order, and the Chen family you recruited has also been directly controlled. The purpose is to force you out. I came to you today just to remind you that it is the end of the world, so don't throw yourself into a trap. Hearing this, Lin Chen sat up suddenly, and his face instantly became gloomy. He briefly negotiated with Mr. Long and then hung up the phone. His eyes flashing with a cold light, he clenched his fist tightly, and a voice containing dissatisfaction and murderous intent slowly came out from the depths of Lin Chen's throat. Okay, what a Black Iron tribe. At this moment, there was a knock on the door. Breaking the silence in the room. Can you come in? A soft voice asked tentatively. Lin Chen raised his head, glanced at the door, and responded softly, come in. As the door opened slightly, Lin Chen's eyes fell on the woman who entered. That was Li Wei, and her appearance made Lin Chen's eyes light up. Why did you change all your clothes? Lin Chen smiled and stared at Li Wei. Hearing this, Li Wei showed a complicated expression on her face. Her decision this time was not impulsive. Before entering this room, she had made a lot of mental preparations. Li Wei's hands were clenched tightly into small fists, and her red lips were pursed constantly, as if looking for courage. After a few seconds of silence, she finally spoke her heart out loud. Lin Chen, Lord Lin Chen. Li Wei, although I was the little wife of the ancestor of the Chen family before, but the old man has nothing but some strength. So, I am still an innocent girl. As long as Lord Lin Chen don't mind it, I'm willing to be your woman. Of course, you can also reject me, but are you willing? The words fell. Lin Chen was dumbfounded. Who is Li Wei? That was a woman with a level 7 superpower. In the whole villa, she was the second only person to him. Now that he actually said such words, even he who had seen the world was stunned. The ancestor of the Chen family really doesn't have it. It's really a waste to keep such a good woman without using it. But in order to establish his own image, he coughed twice. How could I dislike you? Li Wei was still very happy when she heard this. She was really afraid that Lin Chen would dislike her little wife, who is the ancestor of the Chen family, and kick her out. So she quickly said politely, Okay. Sir Lin Chen, I am willing to be your woman at this moment. Lin Chen suddenly felt the temperature of the room drop sharply. He raised his head in confusion, and the whole room seemed to have turned into a world of ice and snow suddenly. A cold mechanical sound sounded. Ding. Congratulations to the host for successfully unlocking a national level quality object. Special reward of 300,000 points. Then the system continued to announce, in view of the fact that the target of the host's unlocking this time is a high-level superpower and has made a significant contribution to the survival of mankind, the system will give an additional 300,000 points as a gift now. 600,000 points will be consumed to improve the host's mental power and other attributes. Host's mental power will be increased by 1,500 points, and other attributes will also be increased by 400 points, and the host will be rewarded with a new ability, Ultimate Ice. If Lin Chen hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he wouldn't have been able to imagine it when he saw that his mental power had reached the level of a level 1 Martial King. His mental power was already 300 times that of ordinary people. Don't be too cool at all. Coupled with the development of a new superpower, he couldn't help but burst out. Chapter 135 Despicable. Afterwards Lin Chen's eyes turned to Li Wei, who was sleeping peacefully next to him. The corners of his mouth raised slightly, revealing a faint smile. Lin Chen pinched Li Wei's cute little face, stood up, and prepared to go to the toilet unexpectedly. After going to the toilet, she saw Su Yun waiting at the door. Aunt Su, what's wrong? Lin Chen asked. After all, Su Yun is pregnant. As a child, his father should also be concerned about her. No, it's okay. Su Yun pursed her red lips and said, that's okay, let's go back to the room. Lin Chen knew Su Yun's thoughts and said directly, You won't think about it again, will you? Su Yun said with a blushing face. Lin Chen pretended to be confused and said, Aunt Su, what are you thinking about? I just thought that I miss you since I haven't held you to sleep for so many days. So I want to sleep with you tonight. Oh. Su Yun felt relieved after hearing this. She really thought that Lin Chen was going to attack the position while she was pregnant, but before she could think for a moment, Lin Chen said directly, Aunt Su, tell me, do you want to chat with me? Or maybe tonight? Su Yun was so frightened that she backed away and refused no, but Lin Chen didn't care so much, so he directly held Su Yun's little hand and walked into the room. You said you were just chatting. Why are you so nervous? Could it be that you spoke with your mouth? Don't worry, even if you spoke with your mouth, I won't dislike you. And just after the two of them entered the room, Chen Lili, Yan Siqi and Zhang Menqi, who were hiding next to the bathroom, showed strange smiles. They also accidentally met Lin Chen and Su Yun, who came out to use the toilet. In order to eat some melon, they did not show up. Instead, they had been secretly observing the actions of Lin Chen and Su Yun. Chen Lili said with emotion, I envy Aunt Su so much. Although she is a mother, she is still like a little girl in front of Lin Chen. However, who made Lin Chen's husband love this? It seems that Lin Chen is preparing to double today. Killed. Yan Siqi put her hands on her hips and said, that's right. We are just too young. Compared with Aunt Su, we are still too young. But why don't you let me come with you tonight? In fact, I also want to hold her to sleep. Zhang Menqi said angrily, everyone is a mother, why haven't they come to a conclusion yet? However, I am also very curious. Of course, Lin Chen didn't know about the chat between Chen Lili and the three of them, because as soon as he entered the room, Lin Chen hugged Su Yun and fell asleep. What's amazing is that Su Yun actually had a dream that felt extremely real while she was sleeping. This dream is not fictional, but a scene that actually happened. Aunt Su, a familiar call came from outside the door, waking Su Yun from her deep sleep. She walked to the door in a daze and opened it. As soon as the door opened, Lin Chen's eyes were firmly attracted by Su Yun's beautiful face and elegant temperament. Su Yun at this moment was completely different from her usual self. As if she was a different person, she was wearing a flawless white professional shirt with a hem tucked into a black JK skirt. Looking both dignified and with a hint of youthful vitality, this kind of dress looks particularly harmonious on her and makes people's eyes bright. Under the JK skirt are her slender legs tightly wrapped in black stockings, which adds a bit of sexiness and charm. Ahem. Su Yun coughed twice, trying to ease the somewhat embarrassing atmosphere. She warmly greeted Lin Chen into the room. Zio Lin, you are finally here. Come in and sit down. In fact, Su Yun specially asked Lin Chen to come today. Some time ago, she learned that Lin Chen was actually planning to confess his love to her, which made her both surprised and looking forward to it. She always thought that Lin Chen was still a half-grown child, and her feelings for him were only at the level of care and concern from an elder to younger generation. However, when she got off work one day, Lin Chen suddenly confessed to her, making her realize that this boy had matured and already had his own emotions and pursuits. Fortunately, Soo-yoon's son didn't see it at the time, so the explanation is really unclear. Aunt Sue, are you the only one at home today? Lin Chen asked casually, looking around the room. Yeah, I'm the only one at home today, Soo-yoon replied, with a hint of loneliness in her tone. However, Lin Chen, I have thought about what you said before. Lin Chen, I think we might be able to just. When Soo-yoon was about to ask Lin Chen to give up pursuing her, or to ask Lin Chen to be her godson, Lin Chen suddenly interrupted her. Aunt Sue, you don't have to say anything. I understand what you mean. Lin Chen smiled and said, as if he had already understood Soo-yoon's heart, you came to me today, and I also know your intentions. Lin Chen paused and continued, if you really want to be my godmother, then I have no objection. But the premise is that you have to let me serve you one service? Soo-yoon was a little stunned, not quite understanding Lin Chen's intention. I heard before that your neck often feels uncomfortable. How about I give you a massage to relieve the pain? Lin Chen suggested that. Although he had thought about a small horse pulling a big cart, he knew not to rush in everything. Hearing this, Su Youngyang wanted to refuse, but suddenly felt that the old problem of her cervical spine had returned, and a burst of pain hit her. However, she still hesitated. After all, there are differences between men and women. If there is such a close contact, will it cause unnecessary misunderstandings? If his son comes back and sees him, he will really have no excuse. Aunt Sue, my massage skills are pretty good. But if you can't trust me, forget it. Lin Chen deliberately pretended to be disappointed. I know you look down on people like us who are orphans, and it seems you don't want to be my godmother. So, forget it, I'd better go. After saying that, Lin Chen turned around and left. Seeing Lin Chen's lost back, Soo-yoon's heart softened and she hurriedly stopped him. No, you misunderstood, Soo-yoon explained. Do you really know how to massage? Yeah, I've learned a little bit before. When Soo-yoon heard this, she was a little conflicted. After all, during the massage, she was really afraid that she would be exposed by Lin Chen. It could be seen from Lin Chen's clear eyes that she felt that she was thinking too much. Although Lin Chen is almost 20 years old, he is still different from the men outside. In any case, he has slowly watched Lin Chen grow up. He is not necessarily that mean. He is the kind of man who is greedy for his own body. Soo-yoon thought. Alright. While talking, Soo-yoon agreed. Then shall I go to the room? Or if you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 136. King Wu. Then shall I go to the room? Or this sentence echoed in Soo-yoon's ears. She thought for a moment and weighed various possible situations in her mind. She glanced at the sofa in the living room. Although it was spacious and comfortable, she imagined how embarrassing it would be to explain when her son suddenly came home and bumped into this scene. In contrast, the privacy of the room provided her with a layer of protection. If the son comes back, the closed door will become a natural barrier and avoid many unnecessary explanations and misunderstandings. Furthermore, if she needs to stop Lin Chen from doing any inappropriate behavior in the room, it will be more convenient and timely. Her eyes fell on the sofa in the living room again. Thinking a lot, finally, she made a decision. Let's go to the room. Soo-yoon said okay. Lin Chen agreed happily. The two of them walked into Soo-yoon's room one after another. For Lin Chen, this is a brand new experience. He has never had the opportunity to enter a woman's private space as an orphan. He lacks a lot of family warmth and has a relatively vague concept of home. So when he stepped into this feminine room, his curiosity drove him to look around. His eyes lingered on every small object, like an explorer entering a treasure mountain for the first time. Aunt Sue, sit here. Lin Chen guided softly and arranged for Soo-yoon to sit beside the soft bed. As Lin Chen began to massage her, Soo-yoon's originally tense nerves gradually relaxed. She originally thought that Lin Chen had something up his sleeve, but after a few minutes, she discovered that Lin Chen was really just concentrating on massaging her and had no other intentions. This simplicity and focus made her feel at ease, but also vaguely disappointed. As a mature woman, she has not had such intimate contact with a man for a long time. Lin Chen's touch caused subtle ripples in her heart. Lin Chen, thank you very much for massaging me. Soo-yoon's voice was full of sincerity and gratitude. She closed her eyes and immersed herself in this rare comfort and relaxation. It's okay, Aunt Sue, this is what I should do. If you don't unbutton it, you won't feel comfortable being strangled. Okay, I'll listen to you. If Lin Chen had asked Soo-yoon to unbutton her clothes at the beginning, she would have felt that this guy was up to no good. However, when she saw Lin Chen's clear eyes, She felt that Lin Chen was not that kind of person, so she took the initiative to unbutton her clothes. As soon as the buttons were unbuttoned, Lin Chen almost lost his grip. The scenery and the visual impact are simply not too strong. Is it much better now? Aunt Su, yeah, that's much better. Just now you really didn't remind me to unbutton it earlier. Su Yun had completely forgotten the pain and caution in speaking etc. Why do I think this? At the same time, while Su Yun was still thinking about whether to agree to Lin Chen in her sleep, Lin Chen had already stretched out. Although I didn't have a good communication with Su Yun last night, I don't know why, but I felt very comfortable just holding Su Yun to sleep. Sure enough, white moonlight will always be white moonlight. However, compared to this, Lin Chen suddenly remembered the reward he received yesterday, and he quickly opened the attribute panel. Host, Lin Chen, age 20, strength 2315, agility 2290, mental power 6690, physique 2265, level, early stage of level 8 ordinary superpower. Level 8 superpower is 100 times the value of an adult. Early stage of level 1 mental telekinesis. Martial King. Level 1 Martial King is 300 times the value of an adult. Items: Ice Silk Bikini 5+, unopened Balenciaga stockings 4, purple underwear 1, Ice Silk Binding Rope 4.8550. Skills 1. Purple Sky Divine Thunder, level 7. 2. Status Immunity, level 5. 3. Space Power, max 4. Summon Zombies, level 5. 5. Secret of Shadow, level 4. 5. Blood Oath, level 3. 6. Ultimate Ice, level 1. Lin Chen stared at his attribute panel. The shock in his heart was beyond words. He only knew before that his mental power had reached 300 times that of ordinary people, but he did not expect that this would mark his leap to a new level. King of Martial. This discovery made him suddenly realize. Recalling the strange experience this morning, he could clearly perceive the scene of Chen Lili taking a bath with just his mind. He could even easily perceive the movement 10 kilometers or 20 kilometers away. This unprecedented perception is proof that he has entered the realm of King Wu. After carefully checking his attributes, Lin Chen clicked on the skill introduction of Extreme Ice. The skill description is concise and clear. Ultimate Ice, level 1, can launch ice attribute attacks on any enemies within 100 meters around it, with a cooling time of 1 minute. However, this introduction made Lin Chen disappointed. The new power he originally expected to awaken, even if it was not as powerful as the Xixio Divine Thunder, should at least be a powerful skill. But the ultimate ice in front of him didn't seem as powerful as he imagined. In order to verify his conjecture, Lin Chen decided to test the power of this skill himself. With a thought in his mind, he instantly flew to the suburbs not far from Los Angeles. Standing in an open field, he took a deep breath and prepared to release this so-called ultimate ice. He wanted to know how powerful this seemingly ordinary skill could be in actual use. As he thought, the air around him suddenly dropped, and an icy chill spread immediately afterwards. Lin Chen witnessed an incredible scene. With him as the center, the ground within 100 meters was quickly covered by a thick layer of frost, and the biting cold air overflowed, as if the entire space had been frozen. This scene made Lin Chen's eyes widen in shock, and the disappointment in his heart dissipated in an instant. He originally thought that this ultimate ice could only create a slight frost effect in a small area, but he did not expect that its power would be so amazing. However, just as Lin Chen showed a surprised smile on his face, something changed again. The thick layer of frost suddenly surged, quickly gathered and changed, and finally formed a majestic and spectacular frost dragon. The giant dragon looked up to the sky and roared, its deafening roar echoing in the open wilderness. It opened its huge mouth, and what it spit out was not ordinary flames, but a strange energy that blended frost and flames. Frost flames. This kind of flame has both the heat of fire and the coldness of frost. The two completely opposite forces intertwine and merge in the dragon's mouth, forming a unique attack method. Lin Chen stood there, staring at this scene dumbfounded. The shock in his heart was beyond words. The existence of this frost dragon and frost flame has far exceeded his expectations for the ultimate ice skill. This is too awesome. Lin Chen sighed sincerely. He originally thought that the formation of frost within 100 meters was the limit of the skill, but he did not expect that this skill could summon such a powerful frost dragon. Who can match this level of prowess? Chapter 137. Lin Chen, who only plays in peak competitions. Being at the level of the king of martial arts and gaining new extraordinary powers, Lin Chen realized that it was time to return to the imperial capital. Although Mr. Long from Cheyenne Luoduan repeatedly told him not to go back, as the imperial capital was his main base, how could he not save him? Even though he was about to die, so He planned to set off for the imperial capital after breakfast. However, before taking a few bites of the meal, Chen Lili seemed a little anxious. You said you are going back to the imperial capital again? And you are going to find the dwarves? Chen Lili's tone revealed deep concern and worry. Well, the Chen family is your original family after all, and it is also a family under my jurisdiction. Lin Chen is the person at the helm. I cannot sit back and watch. Although Lin Chen's tone was indifferent, it revealed an unquestionable firmness. Chen Lili urged eagerly. Lin Chen, although I don't know much about the dwarves, the elders of our Chen family all say that the dwarves are in existence that must not be provoked. Anyone who offends the dwarves will not be punished in the Dragon Kingdom. It may not be able to gain a foothold in the entire Blue Star. Lin Chen smiled when he heard this and said with relief, look at you. This is all about caring and chaos. I think you may have heard too many legends about the dwarves. Don't worry, even if there is a problem, your husband and I will. You can protect yourself. Okay, I'm ready to go now. You have to train well with Li Wei during my absence. So fine. Chen Lili knew that he could not convince Lin Chen, so he could only purse his lips helplessly and chose to accept what Lin Chen calls training is actually to build his women into a powerful team with special abilities. He hoped that they would at least have the ability to protect themselves in the apocalypse. However, what he didn't know was that as soon as he left, Li Wei took his women out of the villa to kill zombies. Of course, these were things he didn't know at the moment, because he had already had an idea flash through his mind and sped away in the direction of the imperial capital. Although Lin Chen was only 1 day away from the imperial capital, however, in this short period of time, the overall atmosphere of the imperial capital has undergone earth-shaking changes, especially between the Chen family and other families in the imperial capital. A subtle tension is spreading. The major families, especially those that are not the Chen family, have warned their children to act more prudently during this special period and not to act unscrupulously just because they are members of a major family. They seriously reminded their disciples that if they accidentally provoke a powerful force that cannot be touched, they must not mention their family background in order to protect themselves. Otherwise, if the children or women in the family are implicated and suffer misfortune, then the head of the family there will be no mercy. Although these young disciples do not fully understand the underlying reasons behind this, their behavior has obviously become more restrained under the strict requirements of the family elders. As for the family leaders who are the heads of the family, they know very well that the current cautious attitude is not due to their interest in the private lives of their children and their families, but because of the force behind the Chen family that cannot be ignored. The Black Iron tribe of the dwarves has sent envoys to investigate. This tribe has always been a mysterious and unattainable existence for them. Now, this force that could only be looked up to before suddenly intervened, making several major families in the imperial capital feel an unprecedented sense of oppression. Under such pressure, even trying to curry favor seems powerless. After all, with the astonishing strength of the dwarves, if they wanted to replace the major families in the imperial capital, it would be easy. It is worth mentioning that although the Chen family enjoys a prominent reputation as the largest family in the imperial capital, in the face of this powerful force from the dwarves, they have to admit that the Chen family is actually more like a puppet regime of the dwarves. In the bustling imperial capital, a room in a simple yet elegant restaurant is filled with a fusion of historical precipitation and modernity. In the room, an elegant back stood quietly by the window. The graceful curves were looming under the dim light, giving people a quiet and deep sense of beauty. The owner of this back figure is the flight attendant Liang Jin, who was rescued from danger by Lin Chen. She stared blankly at the world outside the window, seeming to be looking for something and waiting for something ever since she saw Lin Chen leaving with all the female members of the Chen family. But not that day. Her heart was full of depression. It felt like a kitten eager for attention, scratching its heart crazily. After a moment of trance, Liang Chen sighed deeply, as if he was lamenting the lack of fate between himself and Lin Chen. However, at this moment, a familiar voice broke the silence of the room. Liang Chen, I knew you would be here. The sound coming from outside the door brought Liang Chen back to his senses. She turned her head and saw the eldest lady of the Chen family, Chen Gear. Pushing in the door, Chen Gear walked into the room with a complicated expression on her face. She looked at Liang Chen and said softly, "Are we still waiting for him here? Will he come again?" When Liang Chen heard this, a trace of confusion flashed in his eyes. She didn't know the answer, but she still held a trace of hope in her heart. "Kier, what do you think? Can we still see him?" When Chen Kier heard this, she couldn't help but be stunned. For a moment she thought of the scene when Lin Chen left that day, and there was an indescribable feeling in her heart. I think he will come. And he will take us away." However, when she thought of the recent tense situation in the imperial capital, her expression became solemn again. But I still hope he doesn't come, Chen Lili continued, with a hint of helplessness and worry in her voice. I just saw at the door of Chen's house that the head of our family was controlled by the old guys from the dwarf tribe. They said that if our Chen family doesn't, if you hand over Lin Chen, our Chen family will be in danger in the imperial capital. When Lin Chen heard this, he also realized the seriousness of the problem. She was no longer lost in thought or stubbornly waiting, but began to think about how to inform Lin Chen not to come to the imperial capital. She reached out and touched her black silk stockings, and murmured in a low voice, "Then, is there any way to tell Lin Chen not to come? As long as he is safe, it's fine without me." Chen Lili looked at Lin Chen and felt helpless in her heart. She knew that at this time, no matter how much they wanted to see Lin Chen, they must put his safety first. The two looked at each other speechlessly, and the room fell into silence again. After a while of silence, boom, a huge thunder resounded over the entire Chaoyuan district of the imperial capital. As soon as this momentum appeared, even ordinary people could feel that the entire Chaoyuan district of the imperial capital was about to face another fierce battle. Chapter 138. Now that you're here, don't leave. Lin Chen, is he here? A surprised voice echoed over the imperial capital, seemingly carrying a hint of disbelief and expectation. Damn, this kid is so brave. He knew that there were tigers in the mountains, but he chose to go to the Tiger Mountains. However, I'm afraid this is just an egg hitting a stone. Another person sighed, his tone full of regret. What a young genius. I'm afraid he will die today. Some people shook their heads and sighed, as if they had foreseen Lin Chen's fate. The vastness of the imperial capital allowed news to spread quickly. In addition to the Chen family, the heads of several other major families also felt Lin Chen's arrival. Although they did not dare to go and see the young man's handsome face in person, they unanimously set their sights on the Chaoyuan district of the imperial capital, which was the direction from which Lin Chen's aura came. At the same time, in the main hall of the Chen family compound, the atmosphere suddenly became tense. The three white-bearded old men sent by the dwarf Black Iron tribe originally closed their eyes to rest, but the moment Lin Chen's momentum appeared, they all opened their eyes, and a cold light flashed in their eyes. Oh, it's this guy, right? One of the old men spoke slowly, his voice hoarse and cold. I didn't expect that he would actually dare to come to the imperial capital. He really threw himself into a trap. Another old man sneered and said, Humph, since he has come to our door, we will help him. Let him know the consequences of offending our dwarves. The last old man did not speak, but his eyes flashed with a sharp light, obviously full of hostility towards Lin Chen's arrival. The entire Chen family compound seemed to have turned into a huge cage at this moment, waiting for Lin Chen to surrender. Boom. With a shocking thunder, the sky suddenly became gloomy, dark clouds covered, and heavy rain poured down. In this violent storm, a figure suddenly appeared in the sky above the Chen family compound like a ghost, and the sky seemed to change color with his arrival. With the appearance of this figure, the sky of the imperial capital also changed, as if his arrival caused resonance in the world. Dark clouds were gathering, the rain was pouring, and the wind was raging. The entire imperial capital seemed to be in a doomsday scene. Suddenly, several sharp blasts of wind pierced the sky, and the figures of three white-bearded old men quickly flashed above the Chen family compound. Their eyes were cold, staring closely at the black figure, and a chilling atmosphere filled the air. Are you Lin Chen? A low and majestic voice came, breaking the brief silence. Yes. Yes. Here. The young man Lin Chen held his head high and responded directly to the white-bearded old man's question. He put his hands on his hips and looked at the old man opposite him firmly, showing no fear. Are these dwarves? Lin Chen looked at these three white-bearded old men and thought to himself, if you don't look closely, they just give the impression of ordinary dwarfs. But since Lin Chen was promoted to the martial king level, his powers of observation are no longer what they used to be. He could feel the powerful aura exuding from these three people, far more powerful than the ancestors of the Chen family. Lin Chen judged that these three people were at least level 9 superpowers, and even the white-bearded old man wearing a black hat in the middle seemed to have reached the level of a level 1 martial king. Is this the heritage of the dwarves? In just one move, there were 2 level 9 superpowers and a martial king, and this was just a display of the Black Iron tribe's strength. Lin Chen couldn't help but start to imagine, if the 3 major dwarf tribes gathered together, what a powerful force they would be. He couldn't even imagine such a scene. Since I became the elder of the Dark Iron tribe, the old man with a white beard wearing a black hat spoke slowly, with a hint of ridicule in his voice. This is the first time I've made a move in so many years. It's such a pity that such a talented boy will die today. His tone was full of confidence and contempt, as if he had foreseen Lin Chen's tragic ending. Whether it's me or you who will fall, it's not just a matter of words. Lin Chen said slowly, hell, boy, when I catch you, I want to see who is talking so hard." The white-bearded ancestor's eyes also turned cold, but as soon as he finished speaking, several purple thunder guns appeared behind Lin Chen, which made Lin Chen's whole aura suddenly rise a lot. Even the rain that just fell on Lin Chen seemed to be dripping around Lin Chen. "Oh. It turns out that you are also a person with mental powers. No wonder you dare to be so arrogant. However, if you think that you can be arrogant with such strength, then you are overthinking." The white-bearded old man stared at Lin Chen closely, and said in a low voice. Just as the white-bearded old man finished his words, a figure suddenly appeared in the Chen family's courtyard. It was the head of the Chen family. His appearance was as sudden as a gust of wind, which was a bit shocking. However, the white-bearded ancestor did not give him a chance to speak. There was a biting chill in his words. "As the head of the Chen family, you are willing to become Lin Chen's lackey. It is really disappointing." Faced with such accusations, the head of the Chen family simply responded calmly, "Even being a dog for Master Lin Chen is better than the life of your dwarves." Enough. The white-bearded old man was obviously offended, with uncontrollable anger in his voice. Originally, the three elders of the Black Iron tribe thought that the Chen family was forced to surrender because of Lin Chen's powerful strength, but now it seems that the Chen family has sincerely chosen to follow Lin Chen, even willing to be a dog. Then he has already developed murderous intentions. Anyway, it is not difficult to support a force. Again, what he didn't know was that all of this was the result of Lin Chen's supernatural powers, and he made the Chen family become like this willingly. At this moment, the head of the Chen family suddenly swayed and fell to the ground weakly, falling into coma. The old man with the white beard looked at him, a trace of murderous intent flashed in his eyes, and then slowly turned to Lin Chen. His eyes were full of anger and murderous intent, and his voice was cold and cruel. "Boy, since you have the guts to come here today, then I will leave your body intact." Elders of the Black Iron tribe, direct the flame storm. "Good." As his words fell, the other two dwarf elders responded in unison, and then there was a crackling sound all around. Shadows of flame slowly formed around them, and the temperature in the air rose sharply as the firelight flickered. These flame shadows suddenly gathered into a storm of flames, enveloping the space around Lin Chen. The white-bearded old man looked at Lin Chen coldly, as if he were looking at a dead person. "Boy, go to hell." Along with these cold words, countless flame storms surged towards Lin Chen, as if they were going to swallow him completely. This scene is thrilling and suffocating. Chapter 139. Dwarf Princess. Facing the storm of flames surging all around, Lin Chen could clearly feel the powerful power hidden in it, ready to move like a wild beast, as if he was not careful, he would be wiped out in this sea of fire. The heat of the flames was approaching, as if it was going to devour him. But Lin Chen's face was as unruffled as still water. He looked past the surging flames and slowly looked at the three dwarf elders standing above. The three elders had calm faces, and their eyes shone with anticipation for the upcoming battle. Lin Chen had a slight thought. In an instant, the temperature that had risen sharply suddenly fell back, as if someone had turned back the hands of time, causing the surrounding environment to return to its usual tranquility. However, the tranquility did not last long. The temperature dropped sharply again, and a biting cold filled the air. One of the white-bearded elders stared at Lin Chen solemnly, and his voice was low and powerful. "Boy, I didn't expect you to have ice powers, but if you think this meager ice power can fight us flamestorm, then you are totally wrong. This flamestorm is a magical skill that our dwarf mages have honed over hundreds of years, and its power is extraordinary." However, before he finished speaking, the surrounding temperature did not rise as he expected. On the contrary, the moment he finished speaking, his expression suddenly changed. A deafening loud noise suddenly sounded, shaking the entire space behind Lin Chen. A huge frost dragon appeared. It was hundreds of meters long, exuding a chilling air, and its cold eyes were staring at them closely. "Go and let them see what real superpowers are." Lin Chen's voice was calm and firm. His eyes slowly swept over the three elders, and then he issued an order to the frost dragon. At that moment, the frost dragon spread its huge wings and rushed towards the flamestorm with the icy wind. The ice dragon has not yet approached, but the icy aura it exudes has already caused the expressions of the three old men to change suddenly. They exclaimed in unison, "How is this possible? Go all out!" Seeing the frost dragon approaching, the three dwarf elders activated all their powers with fear. Boom! 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 When the frost dragon collided fiercely with the flamestorm instantly erupted with an earth-shattering noise, and then violently scattered in all directions. The storm, originally composed of blazing flames, suddenly collapsed under the impact of the frost dragon. The entire sky in the imperial capital was shaken by the sound of the storm cracking, as if the sky was trembling. Several other major families in the imperial capital also felt this strong vibration, as if an earthquake was coming. What happened? Was it an earthquake, isn't it? Such a big movement. Those are the elders of the dwarves. Who dares to offend them? Even among the dwarves, there are not many outstanding young people with this kind of strength. I wonder if Lin Chen can compete with the geniuses of the dwarves. However, when everyone in the imperial capital was panicking, a figure behind the frost dragon quietly approached the dwarf elder who had just spit out blood. That person was Lin Chen. He just mobilized the ice dragon to fight against him. On the surface, he seemed to have nothing to do, but in fact, he really had nothing to do. He also didn't expect that this newly developed ability would be so powerful. You know, the Zixio Divine Thunder is already level 7, and it may not be able to withstand a blow from such a frost dragon. Retreat quickly. Gather at the old place. The 3 white-bearded old men in the sky all looked extremely ugly after experiencing that huge energy explosion, especially the strongest old man with a white beard. His palms were even trembling slightly, showing his inner shock and uneasiness. Retreat? Since you are already here, why are you leaving? Lin Chen smiled faintly, moved his eyes slightly, and instantly shortened the distance between him and the 3 old men. Damn. I won't let you go even if I die. When Lin Chen's hand was about to touch the most powerful old man with a white beard, he suddenly tried his best to push the other old man beside him towards Lin Chen. Even if he vomited blood then, his body quickly shot out of the imperial capital like a cannonball. It's so noisy. Lin Chen easily tore the pushed old man apart with one hand. The whole process was as simple and cruel as tearing apart a Japanese man with his own hands. Damn, this old boy is so cruel. Another old man on the side was stunned when he saw this scene. He wanted to avenge his comrade who had just died, but the voice of an old man with a white beard running away was heard in the distance. What are you waiting for? Do you want to be killed? Let's go. A stern scolding came, and the old man woke up as if from a dream. He immediately turned into a stream of light and fled quickly in the other direction, but since he had already formed a grudge, Lin Chen would not let the tiger go back to the mountain, and directly chased Liu Guang in the direction he was going, somewhere in the imperial capital. Your Highness, is it really okay for us to sneak out like this? A male dwarf said with worry on his face. You also know that the tribe leader has just sent people to deal with Lin Chen. What should we do if they come back after finishing cleaning up and find that we are not here? Moira, who was called Her Royal Highness, showed a trace of displeasure on her face. What are you afraid of? It's not like you don't know that my father is currently planning to attack other tribes with the intention of becoming the king of the dwarves. If you don't come out now, get some air. I'm afraid there will be no chance in the future. You're just too timid, Moira said impatiently, and this is only the first time I've sneaked out. What do you have to worry about? But, if the tribe leader finds out, I'm really afraid of being punished. The male dwarf's voice trembled, obviously very scared. Moira's father, as the leader of the Dark Iron tribe, is the most outstanding leader in the past 100 years, but he also has horrifying habits for those who do not respect him. He will impose cruel punishments, such as tongue cutting, ear cutting, and even more cruel methods. Just when the male dwarves were worried and Princess Moira was wandering boredly towards the center of the imperial capital, suddenly, a deafening roar attracted her attention. Is that firestorm? Moira said in surprise. She was very aware of the powerful power contained in the flame storm. Is it possible that the people father sent this time are so powerful? However, before she could recover from the shock, she saw 2 streams of light flying quickly towards her direction. Chapter 140. This princess is so cute. Your Highness Princess, you look, those 2 streams of light are here to catch us, right? The male dwarf stared nervously at the rapidly approaching stream of light and said with a trembling voice. Moira's heart also tightened. She was not sure what the 2 streams of light meant, but the uneasiness in her heart continued to rise. She held the hand of the male dwarf next to her tightly, as if this could bring her a sense of security. The 2 of them looked nervously at the stream of light that was getting closer and closer, and the atmosphere became more and more solemn. Finally, the 2 streams of light suddenly fell in front of them like cannonballs. There was a loud bang, causing both Moira and the male dwarf to take a few steps back involuntarily. Your Highness, how about we run away? The male dwarf was obviously frightened. He said hastily, fearing that he would be caught in the next second. However, Moira showed a rare calmness and stubbornness. She was not intimidated by the side in front of her, but instead strengthened her determination. Just when the male dwarf was panicking, 2 haggard figures appeared in the 2 streams of light in front of him. They helped each other and walked over, as if they had experienced a huge ordeal. Lao Bai, then that seems to be Her Royal Highness the Princess, one of the old men said in surprise, looking at Moira with wide eyes. I think so too. Are we back to the tribe? The old man known as Lao Bai said with a tired but happy smile. However, They soon realized that this was not their tribe. Moira heard their conversation and finally breathed a sigh of relief. It seems that these two streams of light are not here to catch him. She walked forward and asked with concern, Elder Bai, Elder He, why are you here? Why do you look so ugly? Only then did the two dwarf elders realize that they had just escaped from the Chen family in the imperial capital. How could they return to the Black Iron tribe so quickly? Moreover, if the tribe leader finds out about their current state of embarrassment, their families may be implicated. When he thought of this, Elder Bai quickly said, Your Highness, please leave quickly. We will cut off your queen. However, before Moira had time to respond, a black figure had landed directly in front of them. It's Lin Chen. As soon as he landed, he saw Moira. Although Moira's height is much shorter than that of ordinary humans, her appearance and temperament are not inferior to those of the harem team in Lin Chen's family. Especially the delicate facial features and porcelain doll-like skin make people want to pinch more after just one look. Now that you're here, don't leave, Lin Chen said lightly, his eyes moving on Moira. He didn't know the identity of this dwarf princess, but her appearance surprised him. However, this does not affect his plan. Now that these people have come to his door, he will not let them go easily. Your Highness, please leave quickly. This person is the sworn enemy of our Black Iron tribe. I'm afraid we won't be able to return to the tribe alive today. But as long as Her Highness can return, someone can help us take revenge. Elder Bai struggled to stand in front of Moira and spoke urgently in a weak voice. Lin Chen looked at Moira and chuckled. Oh? Are you the princess? No wonder your skin is not bronze like theirs, but gives people a special sense of beauty. His eyes wandered over Moira, with a bit of amusement. I just don't know if you are an adult? You look so young. I don't bully children. When Moira heard Lin Chen's words, anger surged in her heart. She is the daughter of the leader of the Black Iron tribe. She has been loved by everyone since she was a child, but no one has ever dared to talk to her like this. She said in a low and dissatisfied voice, Who are you? How dare you talk to me like this? Also, I am already 48 years old and have long grown up, but according to your human age conversion, I should now be equal to your 20 years old. And don't think I'm young, but we dwarves live much longer than you humans. We can live to be 400 years old, and that's no problem. Lin Chen was a little surprised when he heard this. He didn't expect that Her Royal Highness the Princess spoke in a cooing way, a bit like a crooked girl. He joked, Oh? You are 48 years old, so you are an old woman. Moira glared at you and pouted, pretending to be angry. You human, can you speak? My 48 years is only equivalent to 20 years of your human age. Seeing that Moira and Lin Chen were still talking, Elder Bai had vicious thoughts in his heart. He took the opportunity to prepare a sneak attack on Lin Chen, hoping to kill him in one fell swoop. However, before his thoughts were completely settled, Lin Chen's eyes suddenly turned cold. He just dodged and came to Elder Bai and Elder He, and quickly aimed at them and sent two Zixio thunder guns. Feeling the threat of death, Elder Bai and Elder Black were terrified. Although their consciousness reacted, their bodies had no time to make any evasive movements. The Zixio thunder spear was suddenly inserted into their chests. Poof! The two old men vomited blood helplessly, and their faces instantly turned pale. Boy, even if I die, you won't be better off. A burst of supernatural energy suddenly appeared in Elder Bai's eyes and shot out wildly. Looking at this, these two old boys were actually preparing to blow themselves up and wanted to die together with Lin Chen. However, Lin Chen will not be as panicked this time as he was when faced with self-destruction last time. As if he knew it well, with a thought, the Zixio thunder gun suddenly burst out with the purest thunder and lightning of the Zixio divine thunder. The deafening thunder resounded, making people frightened. Your Highness Princess, I am leaving today. Please leave quickly. When he was about to self-destruct, Elder Bai was still trying his best to persuade Moira to leave. This scene is really touching. However, after the sound of thunder guns, Elder Bai and Elder Black, who were about to self-destruct, suddenly became insubstantial. They disappeared into the air as if they had never existed, as if nothing had happened. Seeing that scene, Princess Moira and the male dwarf were stunned. They seemed to be frozen in that moment, unable to move, and the shock in their hearts was beyond words. It wasn't until Lin Chen knelt down, looked at them levelly, and spoke that they slowly came back to their senses as if they were waking up from a dream. Lin Chen looked at their frightened expressions, smiled slightly, and asked, What's wrong? Have you never seen anyone kill someone? His tone was relaxed, as if he was just talking about a trivial matter. Moira asked with a trembling voice, You, what on earth do you want to do? Although she is a princess with a noble status and extraordinary strength, she has always been well protected and has almost never experienced real battles. Facing this powerful and mysterious human being in front of her, she felt unprecedented fear and powerlessness. Lin Chen said casually, What do I want to do? Then I want you to be my woman. Are you willing? As soon as he heard this, just when Lin Chen thought he was going to perform the blood oath, a voice came over. Chapter 141. Damn it. I don't want to. Lin Chen turned his head in surprise at the sudden voice, and what he saw was the Princess Moira, whose voice was as sweet as sugar. He could hardly believe his ears. He checked with Moira again and again, and the answer he received every time was decisive. This unexpected rejection actually came from her, Lin Chen said with a bit of surprise and ridicule. Oh, really? However, compared to you rejecting me, I am more curious. Have you dwarfs started practicing supernatural powers since you were young? Otherwise, why do her body proportions are so perfect, and her waistline is so obvious? It's such an enviable advantage, especially for sitting down and chatting with me. As he spoke, Lin Chen boldly put his hand on Moira's delicate, doll-like face. Moira obviously did not expect Lin Chen to be so direct. She immediately shouted, dissatisfied, I am the princess of the dwarves. What are you doing? You are blaspheming the dignity of the dwarves. As the princess of the Black Iron tribe, she has never been so disrespected before. But for some reason, when Lin Chen's big hand touched her cheek, a strange feeling surged in her heart. You know, as a princess of the dwarf tribe, she has met countless men, but she has always felt that she is the treasure of the dwarf tribe. How can ordinary dwarves be worthy of her? However, being touched so directly by Lin Chen, she subconsciously did not avoid it, and her cheeks even turned slightly red. Only then did she discover that human palms could be so warm and powerful. At this moment, the male dwarf on the side saw that the dwarf princess he had long admired was being scorned by others, and he shouted angrily, Boy, although you are powerful, you have crossed the line. Do you know that the person in front of you now? What a noble being this is. She is the apple of the eye of the leader of the Black Iron tribe of the dwarf tribe. If you are sensible, get out of here. Otherwise, if our tribe chief knows that you are scornful of our princess, we, the dwarf tribe, will fight with you. The situation is irreconcilable, snapped. Lin Chen was originally immersed in caressing the face of Moira, who was like a porcelain doll, but was interrupted by the noisy male dwarf next to him. He slapped it away without hesitation. The male dwarf rolled 360 degrees in the air and then fell to the ground. Several of his already sparse teeth were knocked out immediately afterwards. Lin Chen said lightly, A princess from the dwarf tribe? IFG like dwarf princesses. I really don't like ordinary princesses. The male dwarf struggled to get up from the ground. Although he was seriously injured, he felt angry at the thought of his princess being desecrated by Lin Chen. He gritted his teeth and said, Boy, just wait and see. Do you know the status of our dwarf Black Iron tribe in the entire Blue Star? You don't really think that you will be invincible after solving the Black Elder and the White Elder? I tell you, if our tribe leader knows what you have done, unless you escape to outer space, he will definitely hunt you to the ends of the earth. Upon hearing this, Lin Chen picked up the dwarf princess without hesitation and walked directly to the side. Seeing that Lin Chen ignored his warning and was about to take away the princess, the male dwarf hurriedly chased after her. However, as soon as he took a few steps, Lin Chen cast a sharp look at him. With just a look, the male dwarf fell to the ground as if he had been hit hard, struggling but unable to get up. But that's not the most shocking thing. When Lin Chen used his space power to summon a wooden house from the void and close the door tightly, the male dwarf's mentality completely collapsed. He shouted desperately, You beast! Do you know that if our tribe leader knows that you are frivolous, no, that you have defiled our princess, you will die even 10 times? His tone suddenly softened, almost pleading. Handsome, I was wrong, I spoke too loud just now. Can you let our princess go? As long as you let her go, I can guarantee this. Just pretend it didn't happen. But Lin Chen didn't seem to be moved, and the male dwarf added eagerly, You are playing with fire. That is the princess of our dwarf clan, and you can't touch it. If you want, you can even touch it today. You defeated our Black Elder and White Elder, but can you guarantee that you can face the other elders of our tribe? Think twice before you act. In fact, for most people, such a situation may not cause much reaction. However, for the male dwarf outside the door, all this was like a bolt from the blue. He and Princess Moira were childhood sweethearts who grew up together. However, due to the huge gap in their identities, he has always kept his deep love for Moira tightly hidden. He could silently offer everything to Moira from the bottom of his heart, but he never dared to cross that invisible boundary and express his feelings to her. Now, watching Lin Chen take Moira away, one can imagine the pain and helplessness in his heart. He didn't even dare to imagine what it would be like if Lin Chen really convinced Moira. At the same time, on the other side of the wooden house, Lin Chen had gently placed Moira on the bed. However, Moira looked panicked. She kept shrinking to the corner of the bed, as if she wanted to escape from this frightening environment. She originally just wanted to go out to relax and see the outside world, but she didn't expect to encounter such a predicament at this time. Her heart was full of fear and uneasiness, and she kept mumbling, "Handsome guy, you, stop now, we still have something to talk about. Let me tell you this, my father is the dwarf Black Iron, the leader of the tribe. His strength is not something you can deal with, so I will treat it as bad luck that you caught me today, but as long as you do your best and let me go, I won't tell my father." Moira tried to use her identity to intimidate Lin Chen, hoping that he would let her go. However, Lin Chen didn't care about it. He looked at Moira with a smile and said, "Prisoner? When did I say you were my prisoner? Also, even if you take a step back, you are indeed my prisoner, so why should I give you preferential treatment? Just because you are a dwarf princess? Well, no more nonsense. Your task today is to perform well in bed. Maybe I will consider letting you live if I am happy, otherwise I will kill you accidentally. Don't blame me. If you have the guts, kill me. Anyway, I ended up here today. But don't be too happy. Even if I die, if my father knows about it, even if you escape to the ends of the world, I will come to settle accounts with you. When the time comes, you must." Moira made a last-ditch effort, even though she knew it might be useless, but as she talked, she discovered a problem. That was when Moira saw something extraordinary. FK. Chapter 142, The Irritable Princess. Moira was not ignorant of those romantic affairs, but the sight before her still shocked her. After witnessing it with her own eyes, she realized that except for blurting out FK, any other strong adjectives could not accurately express her feelings at the moment. She even began to feel that resistance seemed meaningless. Such a man is like a god from heaven descending to earth. If you really encounter it in reality, you definitely can't miss it. Yes, if you really can't resist, then just let nature take its course and stop resisting. Lin Chen originally thought that Moira had been frightened, and was about to joke, "What's wrong? Has she become mute?" However, when he saw Moira's bright eyes staring in a certain direction, with a strange light shining in them, he suddenly realized it turns out that this dwarf princess is still a rotten girl. When Moira heard Lin Chen's words, her thoughts slowly returned to reality. She had been staring at him just now, almost forgetting to react. This was indeed a bit rude for the dwarves. Moira was secretly upset. Her actions undoubtedly damaged the dignity of the dwarves. Although she didn't know whether the dwarves had such strength, she dared to say that such strength must be among the best among the dwarves. No, at least I dare to say that I am ranked second, and no one dares to say that I am ranked first. I'm not mute. Moira looked away a little arrogantly, trying to hide her embarrassment. Lin Chen looked at Moira with deep and direct eyes. "Oh? Since you are not mute, let me ask you, are you willing to be my woman?" Moira didn't expect Lin Chen to be so direct. She was stunned for a moment, and then tentatively replied, "It's not impossible, but you have to prepare a generous dowry for us dwarves." Before Moira finished speaking, Lin Chen's expression darkened. He suddenly reached out his hand and slapped Moira hard. The slap was loud and crisp, and Moira covered her cheek in shock, obviously not expecting such a result. "You actually hit me." Moira stared at Lin Chen in disbelief with her eyes wide open. She has lived a pampered life since she was a child and has never been treated like this. She thought a mention of dowry was a reasonable request, but she didn't expect Lin Chen would respond so rudely. "Look at what you look like now. Do you still want a dowry?" Lin Chen sneered and said, "It's the end of the world now. I've given you a lot of respect by letting you be my woman. If you hadn't seen that you have a good figure and can give birth to a child for me, I wouldn't have looked at you twice." The male dwarf outside seemed to hear the movement inside, especially the loud slap. There was a throbbing pain in his heart. That was his white moonlight, Her Royal Highness Princess Moira. He once dreamed of being with her, but now he could only watch her being treated like this. "People inside, listen," he shouted loudly. "Her Royal Highness Princess Moira is the treasure of our dwarf Black Iron tribe. If you know her, let her go immediately. Otherwise, I swear I will not let you go even if I am a ghost." His voice was full of anger and helplessness, echoing in the empty corridor. Inside the house, the atmosphere was solemn and quiet. Lin Chen took a deep breath and said slowly, "Originally, I expected to get along with you in the most sincere and simple way, but now it seems that this is unlikely." There was a deep sense of helplessness and determination in his voice. Listening to Lin Chen's words, Moira felt an inexplicable uneasiness in her heart. She tried to speak, but found that her throat seemed to be blocked by something and she could not make a sound. Lin Chen looked at her nervous and frightened expression and continued, "Then, you must be mentally prepared for the next step. Don't blame me for being too cruel. His tone suddenly became firm and cold. Moira's heartbeat accelerated. She didn't know what fate she was about to face, and Lin Chen's next words shocked her even more. Lin Chen paused and his voice became deeper. I'm showing off my cards. As Lin Chen finished speaking, he gradually approached Moira. She wanted to escape, but her body seemed to be frozen and unable to move. She tried to shout for help, but only a faint moan came out of her throat. However, Lin Chen did not hurt her further. He just wanted to have a good chat with her. 2.5 hours later, he began to cast a mysterious magic circle. Ancient runes slowly formed under the feet of Lin Chen and Moira, shining with mysterious light. Moira watched all this in horror, not knowing what was about to happen. After a while, the magic circle was completed, and a powerful force poured into her body. Moira, whose eyes were filled with murderous intent, suddenly became docile. She got up from the bed, got dressed, and then knelt in front of Lin Chen with pious eyes. Hello, Master. Moira's voice became soft and respectful. I am your most loyal maid, Moira. At the same time, a cold mechanical voice sounded in Lin Chen's mind. His attributes and abilities seemed to have been improved again. He felt that his power was stronger, and he couldn't help but feel a surge of joy in his heart. He patted Moira on the shoulder and motioned for her to stand up and follow him out. Moira stood up obediently and followed Lin Chen closely. As soon as they stepped out of the room, they ran into a male dwarf with red bloodshot eyes and bulging veins on his arms. The dwarf was obviously extremely angry, and his eyes were full of determination and madness, as if he was ready to start a life and death duel with Lin Chen at any time. As soon as he saw Lin Chen appear, the male dwarf immediately began to curse. You beast! You dare to come out to see people? How shameless! Do you dare to untie my bonds? I will fight to the death with you. His voice trembled with anger, as if he wanted to pour out all his resentment and anger. He continued to roar, my princess, Moira. It was me who failed to protect you and made you suffer this humiliation. I will definitely report this matter to the tribe leader and let her avenge you. Cleanse the soul. He glared at Lin Chen, with a fierce light in his eyes, and said provocatively, do you dare to come here? I challenge you in the name of the Black Iron tribe. From now on, the Black Iron tribe will be incompatible with you and will fight to the death. As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Chen understandingly untied his restraints. The male dwarf was immediately ecstatic and was about to rush towards Moira, intending to take her away from this dangerous place. However, before he could take a step forward, a figure rushed up quickly. That was His White Moonlight, Her Royal Highness Princess Moira. He looked at Moira expectantly, thinking that she would leave with him. Your Highness Moira, let's go quickly, he said urgently. However, what happened next shocked him. Moira suddenly stopped and kicked the male dwarf in the chest. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 143, Heading to the Black Iron Tribe. If he hadn't witnessed it with his own eyes, the male dwarf would never have imagined that Princess Moira, whom he had always respected and loved deeply, would actually take action against him. Moreover, she chose the location of her attack quite accurately, although not fatal. The pain is excruciating. The dwarf was rolling on the ground in pain, and it took a long time before he could barely support his body. He looked at Moira with confusion on his face. Your Highness Moira, why are you doing this? You ask me why? Why don't you first ask what you have done? Mr. Lin Chen, are you able to slander you at will? My kick was considered merciful. In fact, I really wanted to kill you just now. Period. There was a coldness in Moira's voice. However, for the male dwarf, all this happened so suddenly that he simply couldn't figure it out. How long has it been? Even if your Highness Moira chatted with Lin Chen in the house and talked about life, there is no need for you to come out and kill me just because I scolded Lin Chen, isn't it? This man is indeed handsome, a little more handsome than me, but it's not like that, right? The dwarf suddenly had a flash of inspiration and seemed to have captured something. Damn it, what did you do to our Highness Moira? She is the treasure of our Black Iron tribe and will inherit the throne in the future. How could you let her betray the tribe just because of you? You must have used what trick confuses her to make her so abnormal, but I firmly believe that this confusion will never last long. You despicable human being, you will pay the price for what you did today. The dwarf's words were full of anger and unwillingness. However, before he could finish his words, Moira had already kicked him hard again and said coldly, you talk so much? Believe it or not, even if Mr. Lin Chen doesn't allow it, I will still do it. Will kill you, your Highness. You, the dwarf, who had just regained his composure, was kicked by Moira again, and this time he completely lost the strength to resist. If Moira simply beat him, he might still be able to endure the physical pain, but the heartache of Moira hitting him for another man was simply too much for him to bear at that moment. He even began to doubt his own life, and suddenly felt whether he still needed to continue living at this time. Lin Chen just stood aside, with a faint smile, and said lightly, "Look, you have to say what trick I used, but look at your highness, how good she is now. Wholeheartedly you want to be with me, otherwise you can surrender, so that I can consider letting you continue to be your highness's servant." Hearing these words, the dwarf was extremely angry. He spat hard and roared, "Bah! Even if I was beaten to death by her highness Moira, I would never surrender to you. Just cherish you for the rest of the day. When the tribe leader learns what you have done, your future will be 100 or 1,000 times more painful than mine today. By the way, I forgot to tell you that my father is the deputy chief of the Black Iron tribe. If you dare to touch a hair on my head, my father will never let you go." "Oh, really?" Lin Chen asked expressionlessly, with a trace of disdain flashing in his eyes. He immediately glanced at the male dwarf, as if evaluating his next move. Puff. 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 Lin Chen didn't make any extra moves. He just transformed the purple sky divine thunder into the shape of a silver needle, quickly and accurately passing through the male dwarf's body, leaving countless small holes, but cleverly avoiding the vital points every time. Not a fatal injury. UBD, if you can, give me a good time, the dwarf screamed. Although the injury was not fatal, every time the divine thunder passed through his body, it brought unbearable pain. Whenever he was about to fall into coma due to pain, Lin Chen would accurately control the divine thunder to stimulate him to wake up. In this way, after struggling several times on the edge of life and death, the male dwarf who had just retorted finally collapsed. Please, brother, let me go. As long as you let me go, I promise not to let my father come to trouble you. No, as long as you want me to do anything, I will do it. Just ask you let me go," he begged at the top of his lungs. However, at this time, Lin Chen had made up his mind and was not going to let go of this dwarf who had spoken rudely to him. He raised his brows, and a trace of determination flashed in his eyes. In addition to the hoarse wails of the dwarves, the air was filled with a sizzling sound of thunder and lightning that was the sound of the purple sky divine thunder raging in the dwarf's body, and every sound symbolized the dwarf's pain and despair. Zzzz. With the last sound of thunder and lightning, the body of the male dwarf was instantly scorched by lightning, although his body still maintained its complete shape. His charred appearance made it impossible to recognize his original face. Looking at the corpse scorched by lightning on the ground, Lin Chen said expressionlessly, "The matter has been resolved, let's go. Now, take me to your tribe. I am very curious whether the women in your tribe are like you." "So beautiful." Moira heard this and chuckled, "Sir Lin Chen, you are teasing me again. But to be honest, there are indeed many beauties in our tribe, and they are famous among the entire dwarf." Speaking of going home, Moira frowned slightly. "Although our Black Iron tribe is far from the imperial capital, we are actually located in the underground world, far away from the ground. We need to travel at least 1,000 kilometers to reach it." She looked up at the darkening sky and said, "It's getting late now. Should we consider setting off tomorrow?" However, Lin Chen didn't seem to care about this. "Oh, it's only 1,000 kilometers, so we have to hurry up. After all, I still want to go home at night," he said lightly. "Well, come here, I'll hold you." "Fly over to you." Moira was stunned and asked with confusion on her face, "What does it mean to fly with me in your arms?" She once tried to walk to the ground of the imperial capital and knew how long and arduous the journey would be without the help of an aircraft. Her current strength has not yet reached the level of King Wu, so she subconsciously thinks that Lin Chen is not much different from her. But Lin Chen didn't explain too much, but gently held Moira's slender waist before she could react. The two of them slowly rose into the air. The sudden change made Moira couldn't help but scream, "Ah! You can fly. Wait, I heard that you can only fly when you reach the level of Martial King. Doesn't that mean you are already Martial King? Oh my god, I'm so excited." "Slow down, let me slow down." At this time, Lin Chen had turned into a meteor, carrying Moira and flying quickly towards the direction of the Black Iron tribe. Chapter 144. Fire. 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 When Lin Chen was flying to the Black Iron tribe with Moira, he unexpectedly discovered that a large number of zombies had gathered near the imperial capital. This was the first time he encountered such a large group of zombies since he left Luo City for the imperial capital. This made Lin Chen suspicious. He speculated that among this huge group of zombies, an advanced zombie with advanced intelligence might have been born with this curiosity and vigilance. Lin Chen cautiously approached the zombie group while maintaining a certain distance to avoid being discovered. Moa asked doubtfully, "Sir Lin Chen, aren't we going to the Black Iron Tribe? Why did we fly towards the zombies?" "Wait a moment, I want to explore these zombies first," Lin Chen replied. Staring straight ahead suddenly, he noticed a giant zombie that looked like a tank and was more than 5 meters tall walking at the front. It was obviously much stronger than the zombies in Los Angeles. Lin Chen thought to himself, "It seems that the choice of zombies to breed in the imperial capital is indeed a wise choice." Just as he was observing carefully, his eyes were inadvertently attracted by a figure in white. It was a tall female zombie. From the appearance, she looked more like a human than a zombie. Lin Chen immediately used the system to identify: name, Han Jiai, race, zombie, gender, female, age 22, quality, Kingo, occupation, former law professional, player, appearance 91, body 95, power, A-level zombie, power level, level 7, zombie, overall rating 93. Looking at the data given by the system, Lin Chen couldn't help but become very interested in this female zombie. Not only does she have a stunning appearance and figure, she also possesses powerful ice powers. More importantly, she has reached the level of a level 7 zombie. Lin Chen realized that if she continued to grow, she would become a huge threat. At the same time, he also discovered that if she did not use the system for identification, she would be almost the same as a human being. This discovery made Lin Chen's expectations for the imperial capital even higher rise. First, he met Moira, the dwarf princess, and now he met this female zombie who is the most beautiful woman in the world. He began to look forward to meeting more new and interesting races and individuals in the imperial capital. At the same time, he was also thinking about how to use this female zombie for his own use. After all, her strength and potential should not be underestimated. A meaningful smile appeared on Lin Chen's lips, secretly looking forward to what kind of surprises and challenges the encounter with this female zombie would bring. Under the leadership of female zombies, a huge group of zombies swarmed neatly and orderly towards the base in the imperial capital. They were moving quickly, especially the eye-catching tank zombie, which had already approached the base wall. This base in the imperial capital does not belong to the 4 major families in the imperial capital, but is a temporary shelter built by some small and medium-sized families for survival. Therefore, the superpowers in the base were relatively weak. Facing such a large group of zombies, they felt unprecedented pressure. In order to resist the zombie attack, Han Yu, the eldest sister of the base, stood on the city wall and urgently organized a counterattack mobilization meeting. She assigned defensive tasks in a decisive tone. "Han Fei, you are responsible for guarding the East Gate. No matter what the cost, you must ensure that the East Gate is not lost. Remember, the safety of the East Gate is related to the survival of all of us. Han Zhu, you go to the South Gate to defend. I don't ask you to do more, but as long as the zombies dare to approach the South Gate, I hope they can only come back and never come back. Han Feng, you are always so complacent. Now that the zombies are sieging the city, it is time for you to show your strength. I will leave the West Gate to you. If you can't hold it, I will only ask you after assigning tasks concisely and clearly." Everyone quickly rushed to their respective defensive positions with heavy hearts. They knew that Han Yu had left the most arduous task of defending the North Gate to herself. Han Yu stood on the North Gate, firmness and determination in her eyes. She stared at the approaching zombies in the distance, already prepared for a desperate fight with the enemy. Boom! The tank zombies hit the fragile base wall again with astonishing force, and the entire base seemed to tremble under this force. Compared with those well-designed, solid and heavy regular military bases, this base as a temporary shelter has obviously insufficient defensive capabilities. At this critical moment, the defenders in the base responded quickly. The dense bullets were like a web of death, with 7.61 caliber bullets shooting at tank zombies and other zombies crazily at the same time. Many brave soldiers risked their lives to throw grenades in an attempt to stop the zombie attack. Lin Chen watched all this from high in the sky. He calmly assessed the defense capabilities of the base. Although this base has shown a certain degree of combat effectiveness, if only these conventional weapons are used, it may not be able to withstand the siege of the zombie hordes for a long time. As soon as he finished speaking, a shocking scene happened. The tank zombie suddenly showed amazing jumping power. Jumped over the fence, stood firmly on the fence, and began to attack the surrounding humans crazily. Han Yu, the most powerful superpower in the base, rushed towards the tank zombie without hesitation, trying to knock it down from the wall. In the fierce battle with tank zombies, Han Yu showed her amazing strength and fighting skills. However, at the critical moment when she was about to defeat the tank zombie seemed to have received some kind of order from the female zombie, and suddenly gave up the fight with Han Yu. jumped off the wall and escaped. This beast can actually run away, Han Yu said in surprise. However, she did not have extra time to hunt down the tank zombies, because more zombies were frantically attacking the walls of the base at this time. The tank zombie had moved to other doorways and continued to beat the wall with its huge power. Obviously, it understands that as long as it can break through this fragile wall, no matter how powerful Han Yu is, it will not be able to withstand the siege of the zombie group. Faced with such a severe situation, Han Yu quickly made a decision. Quick, take out our secret weapon. Following her order, many people quickly moved out the dark cannons one by one from the warehouse, and these cannons were quickly placed at the 4 doorways of the east, west, north, and south. Han Yu ordered fire. 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 Boom, boom, boom. Under Han Yu's command, the cannon began to wildly bombard the zombies near the wall. Artillery shells with a caliber exceeding 60 mm exploded among the zombies, causing huge destructive power. The zombies outside the wall fell one after another under the bombardment of artillery fire, and the entire battlefield turned into a sea of fire. These mindless zombies collided and trampled each other under the bombardment of artillery fire, as if they could not feel pain. However, under such fierce artillery fire, their numbers are also rapidly decreasing. Chapter 145 Zombie Berserker. After a brief confrontation, it was obvious that the zombie camp had suffered a heavy blow, and their number had dropped sharply, at least by more than half. Han Yu stood on the solid wall, overlooking the disintegrating zombies below, his eyes flashing with calmness and determination. The corners of her mouth raised slightly, revealing a trace of the Dragon King's smile, which was a symbol of victory and confidence. The scene in front of me seemed to reproduce a classic scene in the movie. Human beings rose up in despair, finally defeated the terrifying zombies, and successfully defended their homeland. Han Yu was filled with relief. It seemed that they had really held on this time. However, in this short period of peace and happiness, an inexplicable sense of crisis quietly approached among the zombies. A female zombie wearing a white suit stood out. She bit her red lips lightly and said softly in an almost inaudible voice, "Corpse explosion." Although her voice was so subtle that only the zombies around her could detect it, these 2 short words seemed to contain endless power. Immediately afterwards, the zombies that had been piled up under the wall just now suddenly exploded without warning. Rumbling explosions came one after another, and the zombies exploded one after another, causing astonishing destructive power. Although the wall was temporarily built with the efforts of everyone and was several meters thick, it collapsed instantly under the huge explosive force. You should know that such a wall may not be destroyed even if it is bombarded with a 60 mm large caliber cannon for an hour, but now, just because of a word from the female zombie, it will disappear in an instant. This display of superpowers shocked everyone present. Even Lin Chen, who had experienced many battles, couldn't help but be stunned. He said in shock, "The simultaneous explosion of thousands of zombies is as powerful as the simultaneous detonation of several tons of TNT explosives. Such a corpse explosion capability is really terrifying indeed. Such an explosion leaves almost no time to react. Once triggered, one can only passively accept the fate of death, and now, they have to face the sudden and disastrous consequences." A horrified scream broke the silence. Some people had not recovered from the shock. Then, after a wailing sound, they were swallowed up by the flames of the bomb and turned into a ball of sparks. "Quick, run!" Han Yu watched the corpses being destroyed in the explosion. He shouted at the top of his lungs, trying to let the people around him escape from the catastrophe. However, his cry seemed to come too late. When the wall collapsed in the explosion, the entire North Gate was reduced to ruins. The North Gate no longer exists, leaving only ruins and smoke in this catastrophe, except for people with superpowers like Han Yu, whose bodies were strong enough to withstand the impact of the explosion. Almost no ordinary people were spared. Once they were exposed to the explosion, their lives were swallowed up by the ruthless explosion in an instant, without even a chance to call for help. Han Yu stared blankly at the ruins in front of her, her heart filled with helplessness and grief. "Sister Yu, are you okay?" Han Fei, Han Zu and others exclaimed. When they saw the North Gate being destroyed in an instant, they immediately dropped what they were doing and rushed towards Han Yu. Han Yu is the most powerful person in their base, and her safety is directly related to the survival of the entire base. If they lose Han Yu, then this base is basically equivalent to a death sentence. "What are you doing here? Go back and guard your posts." Han Yu was helped up by everyone, with a reproachful tone in her voice. "If the zombies attack again, our base will really be finished." "It's okay, Sister Yu," Han Zu said with a smile. "Look, after the zombie explosion, many zombies who had no time to escape were also killed. Now the remaining zombies don't dare to attack our base easily." "Yes,
Sister Yu Hanfei also said calmly, "The zombies now have been almost wiped out by the bombing. The female zombie opposite is defeated with some remnants. They can't make a big splash indeed. In the corpse explosion just now, countless zombies and zombie corpses were blown to pieces in an instant. However, at this moment, the female zombie opposite was staring at her slender hands, seemingly not caring about the decrease in the number of zombies. Suddenly, the female zombie's snow-red cheeks moved slightly, and she whispered softly, 'Summon the zombie berserker.' Then, a huge black vortex appeared in front of her eyes. As soon as the black vortex opened, countless zombies rushed out of the vortex like hungry wolves. They bared their teeth and claws, with ferocious faces, as if they wanted to devour the entire world. Seeing this scene, Hanzu and others couldn't help but screamed and took a few steps back subconsciously. This is not because they are truly afraid of this zombie berserker, but rather an instinctive reaction of humans when facing scary things. At the same time, Lin Chen in the air behaved completely differently. Not only did he have no fear, but he also became curious about this zombie berserker. He observed that the appearance and combat power of this zombie berserker seemed to be comparable to the zombies he summoned. However, that's not the most shocking thing. The eyes of the zombie berserker seemed to glow red, and it stared at Hanzu and others fiercely, as if it wanted to tear them into pieces. "Don't be afraid, everyone." Hanzu mustered up her courage and began to comfort everyone. "We have just successfully defeated such zombies. Hurry up and get the remaining cannons. I don't believe that any zombies could withstand the power of the cannons." Despite this, Hanzu's words did not completely eliminate everyone's fear. The collapse of the North Gate wall has completely shaken their hearts, especially those ordinary people fighting on the wall, who witnessed the sacrifices of their families, relatives and friends, and the fear and grief in their hearts are unspeakable. Some of them are men in other families, some are old people in other families, and even worse, they are sons in their families. But what about now? But now, each and every blood and life was completely gone. Ho ho ho! The zombie berserkers poured out of the vortex and rushed towards the non-existent North Gate wall. As soon as they stepped out of the vortex, they seemed to understand that as long as they broke through this line of defense, they could slaughter them wantonly. At this moment, the North Gate is in vain, and the unobstructed city gate is like the open door of hell, inviting zombies to pour in. Chapter 146. This is the end of the world. The zombies are coming. Everyone, rush with me. Han Yu's eyes were firm. She took a deep breath, cheered up, and shouted coldly. As soon as she finished speaking, her speed increased instantly, and she rushed towards the group of hundreds of zombie berserkers like an arrow. Seeing Han Yu rushing out so bravely, Hanzu, Han Fei and others were also infected by her courage, and started fighting the zombies one after another. They released powerful supernatural powers, and the energy surged between heaven and earth, wiping out the approaching zombie berserkers one by one. However, what Han Yu never expected was that although they killed happily among the zombies, every time they killed a zombie, the female zombie would summon a new zombie berserker by summoning the vortex. As time goes by, the speed at which they eliminate zombies gradually slows down, while the number of zombies increases. At this moment, the tank zombie that had been lurking in the dark suddenly appeared. It locked its target and rushed towards Han Fei. The tank zombies grabbed Han Fei and beat him crazily. Han Fei was exhausted and unable to resist, so he could only let the tank zombies control him. His teeth were knocked out one by one in the beating boom. There was a loud noise, and Han Yu arrived in time and rescued Han Fei from the tank zombies. Han Fei struggled to stand up, and he said with emotion, "You really care about me? Stop talking nonsense." Han Yu interrupted him eagerly, "Hurry and help kill the zombies." She concentrated on dealing with the zombie berserkers around her, waving the weapons in her hands and frantically harvesting the lives of the zombies. However, except for a few high-level superpowers such as Han Yu, the low-level superpowers and ordinary people around them have been surrounded by zombie berserkers. The zombies were armed with sharp knives and slaughtered these helpless people mercilessly. The entire battlefield seemed to have turned into purgatory on Earth, with screams and calls for help rising one after another. Faced with such a severe situation, Han Fei, who was originally injured, began to retreat. He turned to look at Han Yu and said, "You let's run. Otherwise, everyone will die here." As soon as these words came out, Hanzu and others beside him also expressed their opinions. "Yes. Sister Yu, we have done our best. Sister Yu, if we don't leave, we really won't be able to leave." It's not that Han Yu didn't have such thoughts, it was just that she really thought she could defeat the zombies at first, and that's why she was so desperate. But she had been killing zombies like this for a while. Not only did the number not decrease, but there were more and more zombies on the opposite side. and she began to panic. You must know that this zombie mad warrior is not as easy to deal with as the previous zombies. The zombies before were eliminated as casually as chopping vegetables, but this zombie berserker is obviously stronger, and it will take a lot of effort to kill one. So, she thought, why should we save these people in the last days? Let's go. Those with superpowers and strength, let's go together. At worst, if we leave this base, we will just build it again, Han Yu said coldly as the eldest sister of the base. These words made everyone give up resistance completely. Just run to the back, and just like that, the people in the base were completely numbed. Does this mean they are ignored? In a certain community of the base, Liu Yong, a doctor who originally enjoyed a high reputation in the imperial capital, rushed in a panic due to his superb medical skills. He was once hired by Han Yu as the chief doctor of the base. However, at this moment, his identity and status are no longer important. Honey, stop cleaning up and come with me. Liu Yong urgently called his wife Feng Wei, his face full of anxiety and worry. What's wrong? Why aren't you in the hospital? Feng Wei was a little surprised. Shouldn't her husband be rescuing patients at this time? Stop talking, now, get out of here immediately. Then where are we going? You can go anywhere, it's safer than here. Liu Yong has learned that Han Yu and others have fled the base. He understood that if he didn't leave as soon as possible, he might become the next target of zombies, so he hurried home, hoping to take his wife away from this dangerous place as soon as possible. Okay, I'll take care of it right away. Although Feng Wei usually has a fiery personality, she still chooses to respect her husband's decision when it comes to major events. Stop cleaning up, we have to leave quickly. Liu Yong's voice was almost roaring. This was the first time he had said such harsh words to his wife because he was really panicked. The zombies had invaded the base, and if they didn't leave as soon as possible, he and his wife would really be doomed. The base is no longer safe. He must take his wife to leave here, at least to the central area of the imperial capital. Liu Yong believes that with his superb medical skills, supporting his wife should not be a problem. In an ordinary private house on the base, two children were playing carefree. They knew nothing about the fact that the outside world had fallen into the apocalypse. Mom, can you play games with us? The little girl blinked her big innocent eyes, pulled her mother's clothes and said coquettishly yes. Mom, why are you crying? The older girl also noticed the tears in the corners of her mother's eyes, and he showed a confused expression. The two children looked at their mother with curiosity in their hearts. They didn't understand why their mother, who had been smiling just now, suddenly burst into tears and despair. They wanted to know who bullied their mother, but looking around, there was no one they could ask at this time. It seemed that my sister discovered something unusual outside. She heard someone knocking on the door frantically, and immediately ran over excitedly to open the door. Sister, look, there's someone knocking on the door outside, as if he's in a hurry. Let's go and open the door. She happily took her sister's hand and ran towards the door. They ran very fast, as if they were about to open a door to a new world. However, at this moment, the mother, who had been silent all this time, suddenly roared loudly, "Don't drive." The sudden shout stunned the two children. They looked at their mother in confusion, not knowing what was happening at this moment. The roars of zombies and people's cries for help continued to be heard outside the base. These sounds were intertwined to form a doomsday symphony. The mother fell into despair precisely because she heard that the owner of the base and the guardian, Han Yu, had abandoned the base and fled. This news was like a bolt from the blue to all the residents of the base. They have always relied on Han Yu's protection and leadership, but now, she chose to escape at the most critical moment. With Han Yu's escape, the entire base fell into complete chaos and paralysis. Countless people began to run around in panic, trying to find a safe place to avoid the zombies. However, without the protection of the base, wouldn't the zombies outside chase after us? This is obviously a ridiculous idea. Mom, why don't you open the door? My sister pointed at the crazy roaring zombies outside and asked innocently. She still doesn't understand the cruelty and danger of this world. She just wants to satisfy her curiosity. However, just in the moment of their hesitation, a loud sound of bang came. The door was slashed open by a zombie with a knife. Seeing the ferocious appearance of the zombie, although my sister was trembling with fear, she still bravely picked up the kitchen knife and stood in front of her mother and sister. Mom, sister, run quickly, she shouted at the top of her lungs. Although she didn't know what to say, at this moment she just wanted to protect her mother and sister from harm. However, unfortunately, the mother and sister were so frightened by the horrific sight that they collapsed to the ground and could not move. Chapter 147. Money is for women, not for daughters. Ho 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 ho. As soon as the zombies saw the fresh flesh and blood, the blood in their eyes seemed to burst out, and they rushed madly towards the food to be slaughtered. Go quickly, a mother screamed in terror, holding her child tightly behind her, trying to make a last-ditch effort in despair. At this moment, a heroic figure suddenly rushed into the zombie group. Boom, accompanied by a deafening loud noise, a strong impact erupted from the zombie group. Sukin, the mother, slowly opened her eyes and was surprised to find that she was unscathed. She looked around and found that zombies were lying on the ground, bleeding black blood. What shocked her even more was that the person who rescued her turned out to be Hanyu, who was rumored to be planning to escape. Master Hanyu, you haven't left yet? Sukin asked in surprise, with a hint of disbelief in his tone. Hanyu turned back with a firm light in her eyes. My base is not perfect yet. I can't just give up. Come out with me quickly, and we will welcome the hope of victory together. Her words revealed immense confidence and determination. However, if Lin Chen were here, he would definitely say with a hint of joking, woman, I helped you pretend to be the CT. It turned out that shortly after Hanyu chose to escape, Lin Chen sighed and appeared in front of Hanyu, Hanzu and others in a flash. This sudden appearance was like a pebble thrown into a calm lake, causing ripples. You kid, what are you doing? As soon as Han Fei saw Lin Chen falling slowly from the sky, he shouted angrily, with obvious displeasure and vigilance in his tone. Lin Chen smiled and said, what am I doing? You abandoned the base and ignored it. As the owner of the new base, can't I punish you for this irresponsible behavior? However, his smile looked bitter, uglier than crying. Master of the base? What kind of master are you? The real master of our base is Hanyu, Han Fei said disdainfully, questioning Lin Chen's identity as master. Lin Chen did not get angry, but asked calmly, I don't care about you so much. I just want to ask you, do you know your guilt for abandoning the base without authorization? Han Fei was angered by Lin Chen's words. He walked towards Lin Chen step by step, ready to teach this ignorant boy a lesson. However, just when he was about to take action, a crisp slap sounded, and Han Fei was thrown 10 meters away. Damn it, how dare you hit me? Han Fei got up from the ground, touched his swollen face and messy hair, and shouted angrily for him. The head can be cut off, and the hairstyle cannot be messed up has always been his belief in life, but now it was directly shattered by Lin Chen. Seeing Han Fei, the superpower second only to Hanyu, being beaten to pulp, Han Feng and others on the side also stood up and expressed dissatisfaction with Lin Chen. But in Hanyu's eyes, she saw a different scene. Lin Chen's strength that suddenly fell from the sky and that slap that knocked Han Fei away were enough to show that this person's strength was at least higher than his own. Hanyu couldn't help but start to re-evaluate Lin Chen's status and strength. Boy, how dare you touch members of our Han family? Do you know who we are? We are a subsidiary family of the Chen family. You have offended someone who shouldn't be offended, Han Feng said rudely, with a threat in his tone. Lin Chen didn't seem to care. He asked calmly, Chen family? Are you talking about the Chen family, one of the 4 major families in the imperial capital? Yes. It seems that you, a countryman, still know the power of our big family in the imperial capital. Let me tell you, the slap you just slapped my brother in the face, if the people of the Chen family know about it, your hand, and even my life is at risk, Han Feng said with a proud smile, as if he had already seen Lin Chen kneeling down and begging for mercy. He continued, however, our Han family upholds the concept that a big family does not bully the weak. As long as you kneel and crawl from here to my brother, we may consider letting you go. Han Feng said, his face's expression became more and more arrogant. However, Lin Chen was not intimidated. He asked with great interest, oh? Are there any other options? Seeing that Lin Chen seemed to be seeking peace, Han Feng raised a proud smile on his lips. It seems that you are self-aware. However, I'm sorry, there is no other choice. Either kneel down and crawl over, or prepare to bear the Chen family's wrath. At this moment, Han Fei dusted himself off, rearranged his hairstyle, and walked over slowly. Although he had just been beaten by Lin Chen, when he saw Han Feng using the Chen family's name, he immediately felt confident and no longer afraid. Fengzi, why are you talking nonsense to him? If we go together, won't it be over if we capture him? Han Fei said disdainfully. Although he had just been beaten by Lin Chen, he was no longer afraid when he saw Han Feng bringing out the Chen family's name. This is the imperial capital, so who are the Chen family? A steel hammer fell across the entire imperial capital, and it belonged to the Chen family. What? You say it's impossible? Then you should stop hanging out in the imperial capital. Han Fei was thinking in his mind. Want to be beaten again? Lin Chen asked coldly, with unquestionable majesty in his tone. Han Fei tried to argue. Fight? It was you who attacked me just now. If I was prepared, how could you? However, before he could finish his words, Lin Chen suddenly took action. This time, Han Fei was knocked 20 meters away and fell heavily to the ground. This blow made Han Fei's few teeth become even rarer. He covered his mouth in pain and stared at Lin Chen angrily and helplessly. Seeing this, Han Feng sighed helplessly. Boy, I originally wanted to let you go and let you feel the care of the big family. But now it seems that you are too ignorant. You know, now I want to protect you. I can't even save my life. Oh, what a pity. However, Lin Chen didn't even look at Han Feng. He walked straight in front of Han Yu and Han Zu. His gaze was deep and firm, as if he wanted to see through their inner thoughts. Facing Lin Chen's approach, Han Yu and Han Zu couldn't help but feel a little nervous. They didn't know Lin Chen's intentions or what he would do next. Lin Chen said to them calmly, to be honest, if you two brothers and sisters weren't a bit angry, I would have dealt with you long ago. However, since you are girls, I will forgive you. After all, who didn't let you meet me before? If you had met me earlier, I could give you any base, even the entire imperial capital. Of course, I will only give it to you. Look, money is for women after all. Okay, let me stop talking nonsense. Do you two want to be my woman? Don't be too busy refusing. After all, the last woman who rejected me has already ascended to heaven at night. Han Yu, Han Zu? Chapter 148. The contrast between the cold beauty is a bit big. After all, Han Yu is a little older than Han Zu, so she definitely knows more about men and women. Of course, it's just a little more. Immediately, the corner of Han Yu's mouth twitched. She paused, and she slowly said, is this too fast? Also, this is the first time we have met. Although you are handsome and strong, you are so isn't it not good? In fact, Han Yu saw Lin Chen's extraordinary nature from the beginning, and subconsciously developed a strong mentality, the ability to fall from the sky. She has never seen such strength. She was even thinking about whether it would be great if Lin Chen took her to fly. As he said, she could ascend directly to the sky. etc. This was the first time we met. Why did I think so far ahead? Wake up, Han Yu. You are the head of the Han family and the master of the base. You can't let the air leak so easily. Yes, you? Why are you so frivolous? No matter what, I have to start as a good friend before I can become your woman, Han Zu added on the side. As soon as these words came out, Han Yu was shocked. What kind of virtue is your sister? She knew better. That is the famous cold beauty of the imperial capital. Especially when I was studying in Imperial No. 2 Middle School, I was called a real by Yu Guang of No. 2 Middle School. It is said that during her high school years, except for answering questions, she really didn't talk to others. It was this kind of character that rejected people thousands of miles away that led Han Yu to think that this girl was not interested in men. But what happened today? Has this girl's temperament changed? But before Han Zu and Han Yu could speak, Han Feng stood up unhappily. Boy, didn't you understand what I just told you? Now you're actually dare to set your sights on my future woman. Do you think you want to die? Han Feng was obviously stimulated. It was also the first time that he saw Han Zu being so friendly to others, so he said aggressively, I don't want to talk to you anymore. If you are a man, just talk properly and don't be so shameless. Tell the truth. As Han Yu's future man, I really won't hesitate to compete with you. I really can't help but despise you now. If Han Feng hadn't said a few more words, Lin Chen might have been tempted to slap him. But this man's face is too familiar. Isn't this the boiling sheep? After all, only a creature like boiling sheep would say such mindless words. But in front of the two beauties, Lin Chen still wanted to maintain a little elegance. From the beginning, he discovered that Han Yu and Han Zu looked very much like sisters. Now it seems that it is indeed the case, he said. It sounds like these two people have similar pretty smiles, but they also have a different kind of charming and enchanting look. It would be a pity if they are not biological sisters. So, Lin Chen coughed and continued, you just said it too quickly, so I can let you think about it. But you can't think about it for too long. Just before tonight, after all, I will take you back later in the evening home. Damn it, if you dare to touch my woman, go to hell. Han Feng was no longer polite and rushed towards Lin Chen. Lin Chen didn't care about Han Feng's approach. Ever since he stepped into the realm of King Wu, he seemed to have an immortal power. This is not to say that he really will not die, but that he has mastered a powerful self-protection mechanism, a conditioned reflex system that allows him to always avert danger when facing danger. The moment Han Feng tried to get closer to Lin Chen, a deep vortex suddenly opened behind Lin Chen. From it, a figure staggered out. It was a zombie. But it was different from the zombies people usually imagined. This zombie's whole body was covered with cracks, as if it would collapse at any time. The only weapon it held was rusty, and it seemed that it had been randomly picked up from an abandoned garbage dump. However, this seemingly dilapidated zombie actually knocked Han Feng back hundreds of meters with a single wave. The power of this blow was obviously the result of Lin Chen's intentional control, Otherwise Han Feng would have been dead long ago. Lin Chen smiled slightly, as if he didn't care about the episode just now. He turned around, faced Hanzu and Hanyu, and began to introduce himself. Sorry, I was disturbed just now. My name is Lin Chen. I have a lot of identities. Let me introduce them one by one. I am an ordinary person in the Dragnet. Luo is also the actual controller of the Chen family, the head of the 4 major families in the imperial capital at the same time. I am also the city lord of Luo City and an important contributor to the survival of humankind. In addition, I am also the top one in the killing tower. Following Lin Chen's introduction, several zombies appeared behind him again, as if to prove that his words were not empty talk. The existence of these zombies undoubtedly brought a heavy sense of oppression to everyone present at this moment. Hanzu and Hanyu were completely shocked by Lin Chen's momentum when they heard that Lin Chen was the Xianluo of Xianluo Duan, the actual controller of the Chen family, and many other prominent identities. Their cold and charming faces with a hint of charm couldn't help showing expressions of surprise and awe. Who is Lin Chen? I'm afraid no one will know. No wonder I think such a man is handsome. It turns out it is really him. Hanyu and Hanzu, these 2 peerless women, actually belong to that mysterious and powerful organization, Dragnet. However, due to the family's profound background and unique status, they do not need to perform tasks as frequently as other members. So the number of times they return to the Dragnet is naturally much less, but this does not mean that they are indifferent to every major event that happens in the Dragnet. When the legendary story of Lin Chen heroically breaking the killing tower and becoming the new Nintendo spread throughout the world, the 2 women were also dreaming at night, imagining that a heroic man would kneel in front of them one day and pay their respects, affectionately proposing elegantly. What a romantic and beautiful scene it will be. When I saw him today, I saw that Lin Chen's demeanor lived up to his reputation. He was tall and majestic, and every move revealed the domineering and confidence of a strong man. When Hanzu saw such a man for the first time, her heart palpitated, but when she hesitated for a moment, Hanyu expressed her wish without hesitation. I am willing. Master Lin Chen, let me be your woman. Hanyu's words were full of determination and expectation. Hanzu was stunned by this sudden confession, and then a surge of anger surged into her heart. Sister, you are going too far. Master Lin Chen is obviously mine. She turned her head away coquettishly, with a displeased look on her face. Hanyu didn't take it seriously. She retorted confidently, you little girl, you have just grown up. Do you know what a real woman is? You don't understand it all. Only I can make Master Lin Chen feel. Hanyu, the profound heritage of the family for 20 years. After hearing this, Hanzu took a deep breath, gently brushed a strand of silver hair on her forehead with her delicate hands, and her eyes became firm. After a moment, she raised her head and said seriously, Master Lin Chen means that we can all become his women, so I can do it. After saying that, she bit her red lips and bravely said to Lin Chen, my own voice, Master Lin Chen, I also want to be your woman. Chapter 149. Zombie meat is sour and not tasty at all. Suddenly, a mechanical voice without any emotion echoed in the empty space. Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully unlocking a national level quality object. Special reward of 300,000 points. The sound was repeated twice, as if to emphasize this important moment. The system's voice sounded again, announcing a new reward. In view of the sisters being unlocked by the host this time, and in view of their significant contribution to the survival of mankind, the system will use 600,000 points to provide the host with additional attributes improvement. The host's mental power will be enhanced by 2,000 points, and other attributes will also be increased by 400 points. The system continued. Moreover, the host's 2 major skills, summoning zombies and purple sky divine thunder, will both receive level 1 evolution. Lin Chen was shocked by the sudden good news. He quickly looked up the evolved skill description. The first is the Xixio divine thunder, which has now reached level 8. The new description reads, the host can condense all objects with lightning properties to launch powerful attacks, and can also use the lightning properties to paralyze the enemy. Lin Chen looked at this description and couldn't help but feel doubts in his heart. Is this still the Xixio divine thunder that he knew before? The skill descriptions in the past were too concise. If he hadn't developed the ability himself, the name of such a skill would seem to be a bit unworthy of the name. Then, he looked up the skill description for summoning zombies. Now, this skill has evolved to level 6, and the description reads, you can summon a level 6 zombie warrior. Lin Chen was satisfied with this. Although the previous zombie warriors were good in strength, they always looked a little shabby nowadays. The enemies he faces are no longer ordinary superpowers. When he goes to the Black Iron tribe, he may even encounter strong men at the level of the King of Martial Arts. Just when Lin Chen was immersed in the joy of system rewards, The voices of Han Yu and Han Zu broke his meditation. They seemed a little panicked, thinking that they were not pious enough, so they reiterated their loyalty. Lin Chen came back to his senses and comforted them and said, "Okay, I understand what you mean. Now, come back to the base with me." Han Yu seemed a little worried. "Are we really going back to the base? Whether we can defeat that zombie is still unknown." She had made some difficult choices because of the rules of survival and the apocalypse, so she had doubts about this decision. Lin Chen was full of confidence. "Let's go." As soon as he finished speaking, he suddenly picked up Han Yu and Han Zu at the same time, then jumped into the air and flew towards the base. This sudden move shocked Han Yu and Han Zu. They had never experienced such a flight, and they were so frightened that they could not speak for a while. "Didn't we agree to let us go to heaven at night? Why are you so anxious?" "Really annoying, but I like it so much." Han Zu, sister, can you lower your voice? Han Yu, don't think that if you don't open your mouth, I won't know what guard medicine you are selling. When Lin Chen returned to the base, he gently put down Han Yu and Han Zu in his arms, turned around and strode towards the gathering place of zombies. He ordered without looking back, "You just stay at the base. Don't go anywhere. I'll deal with the zombies and I'll be back soon." After hearing this, Han Yu's beautiful eyes showed deep concern. And she whispered softly, "Be careful. This man has become indispensable to her, and she can't imagine what would happen to her if something happened to him." After Lin Chen put the two people down, his eyes instantly became sharply stared ahead, like an awakened lion. Rushing towards the zombie group at the north gate of the base, the zombies who originally gathered at the door, eager and excited for fresh flesh and blood, suddenly reversed their situation after Lin Chen appeared. In just a few breaths, the zombies outside the north gate of the base had disappeared without a trace. Only piles of broken zombie heads, arms, legs and feet were left on the ground, scattered throughout the north gate area. This scene was fully seen by Han Jiai, a female zombie not far away. She couldn't help but widen her eyes in shock, and her heart was filled with disbelief. How can this be? She thought to herself that each of her zombie berserkers had at least the strength of level 5 zombies. Coupled with their huge number, they should be able to withstand them for a while. However, the man in front of him could solve them all in such a short period of time, which was simply unbelievable. She secretly wondered, could this man be a level 7 superpower? No, even a level 7 superpower user cannot kill so many zombies so easily. So, is he a more powerful level 8 superpower? Just when Han Jiai was deep in thought, Lin Chen had already walked in front of her. She looked up and saw this man staring at her coldly. With the cold light in his eyes, Han Jiai's heart trembled, knowing that she might have encountered an unprecedentedly powerful enemy this time. Who are you? Han Jiai stared at Lin Chen with a face full of surprise. There was a bit of consternation and vigilance in her voice. "A person with powers like yours should look down on such a small base, right? At least, you won't care about this." Nosy, Lin Chen glanced at her lightly and said, "When did I say that I like a base like this? But, can't I like the owner of the base? Just like I like you now." When Han Jiai heard this, her eyes widened in shock, and she looked at Lin Chen in disbelief. This was the first time since she turned into a zombie that she heard someone say they were attracted to her, and they didn't hide away because of it. Although she looks no different from ordinary people, anyone who has fought with zombies knows that the body of a zombie is cold and no different from a corpse. The only difference is that the corpse cannot move, but the zombies can move. She couldn't help but start to think about why this man, who was so powerful, spoke so directly and had no regard for worldly opinions. This attitude made her appreciate Lin Chen a little bit. There were people who had shown affection for her before, but when they learned that she was a zombie, the look of fear and rejection in their eyes chilled her heart. However, Lin Chen was different. There was no trace of disgust or fear in his eyes when he looked at her. Instead, he seemed to be appreciating a delicious dish. This made her doubtful. Could it be that he wanted to eat her? After all, zombie meat is sour and not tasty at all. Chapter 150 Mutated Zixia Divine Thunder. What's wrong? Why are you silent? Do you think I'm joking with you? Lin Chen said with a smile. At first, I really didn't dare to touch zombies. After all, I was really afraid of getting infected, but until I met you, I discovered that what kind of infection, even after chatting with you, becomes it's worth it if you become a zombie. In other words, don't you want to be a zombie? Zombies should also have needs in that regard. I will definitely let you become my woman, the happiest female zombie. Okay, I do. Han Jiai agreed after thinking about it. Then he slowly walked up to Lin Chen and showed off his career line while he was not paying attention. However, just when Lin Chen was admiring the rare scenery, Han Jiai's expression changed drastically. He immediately took out a dagger hidden behind his back, aimed at Lin Chen's neck and slashed at high speed. When the dagger passed through Lin Chen's neck, Han Jie showed a rare smile. Done. From the beginning, when Lin Chen suddenly appeared in front of her, she knew that she was no match for Lin Chen, but as long as they are men, especially lustful men, they will have weaknesses. And Lin Chen will definitely not be surprised, so she took the opportunity to sacrifice her ego and directly took Lin Chen for granted. However, at the next moment, Lin Chen, who had just scratched his neck, turned into a burst of purple lightning and disappeared. How is it possible? I have obviously succeeded. Han Jie looked surprised. Sure enough, the female zombie has no heart. Originally, I wanted to have a good chat with you, but why are you so stubborn? Lin Chen, who is not far away, slowly walked over. However, in addition to Lin Chen himself, there is also the secret of the shadow that was summoned before, holding the dwarf princess in one hand. Sir Lin Chen, do you still have clones? What other powers do you have? I'm really afraid that I won't be able to bear it when I chat with you at night. Moira said angrily. It turned out that just when Lin Chen was about to take sisters Han Yu and Hanzu back to the base, Moira expressed her dissatisfaction. You hug these two beauties, what should I do? Who knew that Lin Chen would never let every woman's love get any less, so he turned around and asked his shadow secret to pick up Moira and follow him. No, it's impossible. You're obviously dead, and you definitely can't be a clone just now. When she saw Lin Chen, Han Jie obviously couldn't distinguish reality. I didn't say it was a clone. By the way, I forgot to tell you, that is a special ability developed by my upgraded Zixio Divine Thunder. I would like to call it the Divine Thunder Phantom Body. Lin Chen said. Lili said. In fact, after the Zixio Divine Thunder was upgraded to level 8, Lin Chen thought there was not much change, but just when she discovered that Han Jie had evil thoughts, an idea came to her. Level 8 Purple Sky Divine Thunder. It is said that a person with superpowers who has cultivated to this level can condense the Divine Thunder they have cultivated into powerful Divine Thunder Phantom Body. This Phantom Body can be restored to 1 strength with a real body once the main body is damaged. The Phantom of the Divine Thunder can be used to replace the injured person. This short thought made Lin Chen, who was ready to take care of Han Jie, suddenly become interested. Since this level 8 Zixio Divine Thunder has such effect, it would be a pity not to give it a try. And according to the introduction of this Divine Thunder, the previous secret of shadow is simply weak. One is a 1 strength restoration, and the other is only a partial restoration. So what else is there to do with secret of shadows? But soon, Lin Chen realized that he had thought wrong. Since he had 2 powers that could be used as clones, wouldn't he be the same as the Sword Master? It can be divided into 3 clones and 1 body. If this is the case, then these 2 so-called powerful abilities are too terrifying. Right, that's really worthy of S-level abilities. When she thought of this, Lin Chen walked towards Han Jie calmly, step by step. Although her heart was filled with the urge to escape, her feet seemed to be firmly nailed to the ground. Unable to move, facing Lin Chen who was gradually approaching, she felt unprecedented pressure. Lin Chen slowly took Han Jie's cold little hand and sighed softly. It's really cold. But the more indifferent a woman is, the more she needs my warmth to melt her. Hearing this, Han Jie's lips trembled slightly. She knelt down weakly in front of Lin Chen, tears sliding down her cheeks, and she begged with a choked voice, "Sir, I was wrong just now. Please don't hold me accountable. As long as you are willing to let me go, I will do anything for you, even if it means being a cow or a horse. You see, is this okay?" Lin Chen looked at Han Jie's pitiful appearance, and a playful smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. "I don't need any horses and oxen at home, but if you are willing to cosplay at night, I don't mind." As he spoke, he began to draw an ancient magic circle on the ground beneath Han Jie and him. With the completion of the magic circle, a powerful force poured into Han Jie's body. The originally pleading eyes gradually became firm and adoring. She slowly stood up from the ground, then knelt in front of Lin Chen with a new, pure look, and said respectfully and gently, "Hello, Master. I am your most loyal maid Han Jie." At the same time, a cold mechanical voice sounded in Lin Chen's mind, telling him that his attributes and abilities seemed to have been improved again. He nodded with satisfaction. Very good, very good. Now, come back to the base with me." "Yes, Master Lin Chen." Han Jie responded respectfully. Later, the two returned to the base together. As the leader of the base, Han Yu's return seems to have brought back the soul of the entire base. The doctor, who was about to take his wife away from the base and go to the center of the imperial capital to find a new life, stopped at this moment,
With a long-lost smile on his face, and the little girl who was rescued from danger by Han Yu not long ago was also smiling as brightly as a flower. Every ordinary person in the base seemed to be relieved, because they knew that in this apocalyptic world, without the protection of the base, survival would become extremely difficult. Master Yu, thank you so much. If it weren't for you, we really wouldn't know what to do, someone said gratefully. Master Yu, I knew you wouldn't abandon us. I knew it. Another person also expressed his trust and dependence on Han Yu. Look, I told you before, Mrs. Yu didn't abandon us just now. She was just changing tactics to deal with those zombies. Someone explained the previous misunderstanding and rectified Han Yu's name. Amidst the praise from everyone, Han Yu couldn't help but feel a little ashamed. She knew that her previous escaped behavior was not honorable, and she was just brought back by Lin Chen. But now, since the new owner of the base is already Lin Chen, she doesn't dare to trust him anymore. So she cleared her throat and prepared to announce something important to everyone. Okay, thank you for your support. But today I have something very important to announce. Before Han Yu finished speaking, someone suddenly shouted in panic, Master Yu, zombies! Zombies are here again! Han Yu thought someone was causing trouble, but when she turned her head to check, her eyes suddenly froze. Among the figures flying over, she saw a very familiar face. That clean, fair-skinned, pretty and cute girl. Isn't he the leader of the zombies just now? End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.